Okay, I have started the YouTube. Um, I'll share the link now for everyone. Prem, I'm gonna make you co-host as well, just in case, if you need anything.
Sure, that's great. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Srila Gurudev. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. Thank you all for joining us at our official South African 2021 Vyasa Puja. Srila Gurudev, greetings. Nice to see you. So grateful that we have a exclusive Vyasa Puja for the devotees and disciples here from South Africa this year. We are welcoming those who are joining us on YouTube. And for those in the Zoom call, please feel free to have your video on so we can all be with each other here. So Srila Gurudev, we have a really nice, exciting lineup for us today. Some creative offerings, videos from all sorts of disciples around South Africa. And we'll begin a standard procedure with the meaning of Vyasa Puja, and that'll be given by His Grace Gopi Jivana Prabhu. So Gopi, if you're ready, I welcome you to tell us about the meaning. Gopi is there with his cow and his sacred land.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Prem. Hare Krishna, Srila Gurudev. So, dear devotees, it's wonderful to see you all gathered here. Today is an incredibly important day. It is a celebration of our spiritual master, and therefore it is a celebration of the very life force of our spiritual lives, the essence of our devotion, for it is the relationship that sustains everything else. So please kindly listen as we now briefly meditate on the deeper meaning of the Vyasa Puja. Now, as the name suggests, Vyasa Puja is connected with Vyasadeva, the literary incarnation of the Supreme Lord. Srila Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasadeva is the original teacher of all mankind. He's the compiler of the Vedas, and thus he is the one who gives us knowledge to assist us as we dwell in our state of darkness. We all know the verse, Om Jnana Timarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Now, our beloved and most illustrious spiritual master is in that very line of disciplic succession that flows from Vyasadeva, the Brahma, Madhya, Gaudiya, Vaishnava Sampradaya. And just as Vyasadeva gives us knowledge by compiling and protecting the Vedas, our Guru continues to preserve and pass on to us that very knowledge. Now, there are various types of knowledge that lead to a wide variety of existences. But our knowledge is not the knowledge of impersonal liberation and the desire to cease all suffering, to give up our individuality and merge into God. No. Our knowledge is not knowledge of mystic perfections and the ability to control the material energy. There are many other self-proclaimed masters who can help us to attain all of that. But our spiritual master says to us, give up your foolishness, give up your interest in these worthless stones that are lying around in the dirt. Don't you see that there are jewels? Don't you see that there's happiness and fulfillment beyond what you can even fathom? And thus, our spiritual master gives us knowledge of bhakti, knowledge of devotion and love, and knowledge of our true selves as individual spirit souls with an infinite capacity to express the deepest and richest varieties of unconditional love to God and to each other. So, dear devotees, let us take this opportunity to delve even deeper into our appreciation of our Guru, just by understanding just how well he knows the heart of Vyasadeva. As some of you have surely read in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the first canto, after compiling the Vedas, Vyasadeva actually felt despondent, and Narada Muni appeared on the scene and shared a valuable insight and said that Vyasadeva's unhappiness comes from the fact that even though he has certainly given descriptions of the glories of the Lord, Shri Krishna, but not as many as the descriptions given of religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. And then Narada Muni spoke the famous verses. Those words which do not describe the glories of the Lord, who alone can sanctify the atmosphere of the whole universe, are considered by saintly persons to be like unto a place of pilgrimage for crows. Since the all perfect persons are inhabitants of the transcendental abode, they do not derive any pleasure there. On the other hand, that literature which is full of descriptions of the transcendental glories of the name, fame, forms, pastimes, etc., of the unlimited Supreme Lord, is a different creation, full of transcendental words directed toward bringing about a revolution in the impious lives of this world's misdirected civilization. Such transcendental literatures, even though imperfectly composed, are heard, sung, and accepted by purified men who are thoroughly honest. And thus it came about that Srila Vyasadeva compiled the Srimad Bhagavatam as a commentary on the entire library of the Vedas. And the message of the Bhagavatam, as I have mentioned above, is to let go of the stones lying in the dirt and simply grab hold of the jewel that is Bhakti Yoga. Now just see our spiritual master. Just see how he has dedicated his life to that very message. That very message that he received in turn from his spiritual master. The Bhagavatam makes it clear that the holy names of the Lord and the hearing and chanting of those names and the hearing and chanting of the form, qualities, and pastimes of the Lord is the primary means of spiritual success. It is the only thing that matters. And our spiritual master, since 1970, when he met Subal Swami, Vishnujan Swami, Gargamuni Swami, and Brahmananda Swami, has dedicated the last 51 years of his life to the hearing and chanting of these holy names. His entire life in dedication to the mission of his spiritual master. The streets of our Kali Yuga cities have been the temple of our spiritual master, as he resounds the call of the Mridanga and the Briyat Mridanga. Srila Prabhupada instructed our Srila Gurudev to preach boldly and have faith in the holy names. And that is the very same message of Vyasadeva, as seen through his magnum opus, the Srimad Bhagavatam. And our spiritual master has worn this instruction from his guru as a garland around his neck for the last 5 decades. We have all seen the determination with which Gurudev worships this instruction. Dear Srila Gurudeva, you are empowered with the same compassion for all the souls of this world as can be seen in all the other acharyas of our line. Dear Srila Gurudeva, today we wish to honor you as a perfect representative of our disciplic succession. We honor and glorify you for the love you have for your spiritual master, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. A love that oozes out of your every pore like the fragrance from a forest of lotus flowers. Actually, when we look at how our Guru speaks of himself, he always speaks of the wonderful family that he is a part of. So, dear devotees, I will now share with you a very valuable secret, a way in which you can please our spiritual master. In order to do this, we are going even deeper into our understanding of Vyasa Puja. On his 52nd appearance anniversary, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj gave a lecture on the Srimad Bhagavatam, describing the meaning of Vyasa Puja. And he said, Vyasa Puja means the puja of all Gaudiya Vaishnava acharyas. So if we truly want to glorify our spiritual master, then beyond the words we offer today, endeavor to also offer a lifetime of dedication to this family that our Guru wants us to embrace, and offer yourselves to the most transcendental and worshipable mission of this family. Assist our Guru and thus assist all the other acharyas. That is the secret to pleasing our spiritual master. Serve his family. This family belongs to Krishna after all. So how can we claim to want to love and please Krishna if we are not really interested in loving and pleasing Krishna and our spiritual master's family? The same principle is expressed in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Lord Chaitanya ordered Lord Nityananda to organize and perform a Vyasa Puja celebration for him and to worship him. And Lord Chaitanya was seated on a Vyasasan, and when Lord Nityananda stepped forth to put a garland on Lord Chaitanya's shoulder, suddenly Lord Nityananda saw himself on the Vyasasan. So Lord Chaitanya had turned into Lord Nityananda. In other words, Lord Chaitanya was expressing that real worship of him must come in the form of worship of Nityananda, Balaram, the original servant. Lord Chaitanya was saying, serve my servants. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it says, Mad Bhakta Puja Vyadika Sarva Bhuteshu Man Matite. Worship offered to my Bhakta, my dear devotee, is better than worship offered directly to me. And in the Adi Purana, Krishna says to Arjuna, my dear Partha, one who claims to be my devotee is not my devotee, but one who claims to be the devotee of my devotee is actually my devotee. Thus, on this day, we give all glories to our spiritual master, and we meditate on the knowledge he has given us. And secondly, we meditate upon the indescribably beautiful, potent, and loving family that our master has invited us to become a part of. We serve our spiritual master, and we serve the other acharyas that he instructs us to serve, as we know that this is most pleasing to our Guru and to Krishna. How else could it have been? This is natural, this is glorious, and this is our family. So I thank you all for being here and for your amazing efforts to reciprocate with our Gurudeva. May the different offerings we will hear today fill your heart to the brim with transcendental pride and joy and with endless inspiration. All glories to our Srila Gurudeva, all glories to our Guru Parampara, and all glories to the assembled devotees. Jai.
Hare Krishna. Jai. Thank you so much, Gopi Jivana Prabhu. That was a wonderful, very inspiring, insightful, and practical meaning and revelation to the meaning of Vyasa Puja. So we're really grateful to that, and grateful to you for that, and a great start to our sacred Sangha. So I now would like to invite His Grace Swarup Damodar Prabhu. He will be making his offering.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Please accept my respectful obeisances at your lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I've written an offering which I'll present to you for your hopeful pleasure and for the devotee's pleasure. Maharaj, you have only made my life more and more auspicious. I'm generally somewhat of a shy person, preferring not to come forward and to be prominent. I like the security of inconspicuousness. This is definitely not humility, that is for certain. But by Lord Chaitanya's mercy, I was somehow placed before you, one of the planet's foremost carriers of his mercy. And for inexplicable reason, you have chosen to give me time, affection, and friendship, and sometimes recalibration and correction. And since then, through you, I have been engaged in so many different ways that have forced me to come forward. By your mercy, I have also encountered so many great devotees and received their affection and association. And most importantly, I know that by your kindness, I have come so much closer to my own spiritual master, Srila Giriraj Swami Maharaj. Because of your constant endorsement of me and encouragement to Maharaj, he always engages me and accepts my service. The process of Krishna consciousness, I feel, doesn't just culminate with eventual perfection, Krishna Prema. There are many markers along the path where, by the saintly Vaishnava's mercy, one can perfect something, reaching a certain stage of spiritual development, which then will provide the impetus and the determination to reach the next stage or the next marker of perfection. And it all starts with faith, Adau Shraddha. That initial faith intensifies by the association of the devotees, Sadhu Sangha, and then by the engagement in service, Bhajana Kriya, and so on. These various markers along the journey signify an intensification, a thickening of that initial faith or Shraddha. I have so much of faith in you, Maharaj, so much of faith in my Guru Maharaj, and so much of faith in Srila Prabhupada. This faith has been the basis of whatever mercy I have received from Krishna. Over so many years, I have shared so many experiences with you, experiences which have only intensified my faith in you. So many experiences. Being such a staunch skeptic, that is really amazing for me. Generally, I'm always looking for something to corroborate my skepticism. But I feel that Srila Prabhupada has always kindly made me aware of your exalted position, and thus my faith in you has always been nurtured. Being firmly connected to you, Maharaj, is one of the most important markers of the developing perfection in my spiritual life. While it is undeserved by me, the exalted Vaishnava's mercy is so much greater than one's own ineligibility or disqualification. Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langaite girim yat kripa tamaham bande paramananda madhavam. The perfection of being counted in your association has inspired me to reach the markers that lay ahead. And each of those markers, I feel, subtly requires me to prove that I am under your shelter. Despite the mountains of disqualifications that reside in my heart, my qualification is simply my connection to your lotus feet. I pray that I may always increase my gratitude for you, Maharaj, my gratitude for your love, your friendship, and care. It is everything to me. Where would I or anyone here today be without you? Today you are humbly receiving an avalanche of gratitude and glorification, and I feel very blessed to add to that. I love you very much, Maharaj, your eternal servant, Swarup Damodara Das. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Sir Damodar Prabhu. Really appreciate your heartfelt offering. So we would now like to ask if Srila Gurudev would like to address us. If you would be so kind.
I would like to address all of you, and I'll try to be as kind as I can. Because sometimes the spiritual master is soft like a rose, and sometimes he's strong like thunderbolt. We'll keep it soft today. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nivishesha Shunyavadi Pastrita Deshatarane Manchakolpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bacha Petitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavi Namo Namaha. I'd like to thank my very good friend, my bosom buddy, old English term, Swarup Damodar, for his very nice words of affection. He's actually one of my preferred or favorite preachers in ISKCON. He said he's shy, which is true, but if you put him in front of an audience and he gets going, he always speaks so sweetly and convincingly, and it really touches the heart of the audience. He wrote an offering today. You know, it was, you could say, a formal offering. He could have just as easily say, Indradunam Raj, I love you. And I could have as easily said, Swarup, I love you. Because that's the nature of our relationship. It's not just, you know, appreciation or respect. It's just that we love each other because we love to do the same thing, as we all do. And that's why this is a movement of bhakti. We love to serve our spiritual masters. We love to serve our founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada. We love to serve Gaur Nitai, and we love to serve the divine couple, Shri Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan Dham. So I just wanted to tell Swarup that in front of all of you, so it's known. I'd like to thank Gopi Jivana for a very well presented introduction to the program today, the meaning of Vyasa Puja. I would like to warn him, however, that at some point he's going to have to come down from the Swiss Alps, where all the cows are, and get into preaching again. If you saw the backdrop, he's up in the mountains. And Prahlad Maharaj said, I'm not interested in going to the Himalayas for my own deliverance. I'm more concerned to stay in the cities of Kali Yuga and deliver people in Krishna consciousness. So Gopi, you're going to have to come down from that mountain. That was a really nice cow. It was amazing. She didn't even move the whole time you were speaking. I think she was just enamored by what you were saying. But do take my words to heart that when the pandemic's over, come down from the Swiss Alps and preach Krishna consciousness. What can I say about South Africa? I preach in many countries in my lifetime. I think most, or let's say a majority of the countries or the yatras in this world. But of course, SA, as we often say, SA has a very special place in my heart because there's so many memorable moments. I mean, memorable moments. Preaching there, the results have been extraordinary because of the situation, because of the people who I love very much, and because of the qualified devotees, both past, present, and the future. It's a very dynamic place for preaching Krishna consciousness. And some of my most memorable moments in my career are there, forever enshrined in my heart. They've been moments of purification and moments of spiritual strength and almost like miracles, you could say. We have a system in our Vedic tradition where we observe the samskaras. Those are specific moments in one's life where one performs a specific yajna to consecrate and make sacred that moment. There's lots of moments in life, but there's some that are better and some that are best. So before conception, there's the Garbhodan Shamskara, where the parents perform a particular Vedic ritual in order to welcome a good soul, spirit soul, a sadhu or sadhvi into their lives. And then at birth, there's a ceremony. Then there's a shamskara when the baby gets its name. You do a yajna. There's specific rituals to each of the shamskaras. And there's a hair cutting ceremony. Then 6 months. These are all shamskaras. You strengthen the person by these shamskaras, like bamboo. If you look at a piece of a rod of bamboo, there's certain knots at different parts of the bamboo pole, and it's very hard to break a bamboo pole because those knots are strengths in that pole. If you're a gardener, you know what I mean. How difficult it is to take away a patch of bamboo. It's really hard. And that's why sannyasis make their dandas out of bamboo. So in the same way, there's these moments in life: birth, name giving, hair cutting, school, marriage, even your death. When they send you off with a shamskara, you get some bonus points. You're not here, but your relatives, friends, they do a shamskara ceremony. It gives you, like, bonus points. So those shamskaras, that's part of the Vedic culture. It's moments that are important are spiritualized by shamskaras. Now, we may or may not follow all of that in ISKCON. One time Prabhupada said, if I told you all the rules and all the regulations that you had to follow to be a Vaishnava, you would faint. I think as we get older, because we become, we know time is of essence, and we want to hurry up and get Krishna conscious before we leave this world. Person becomes more concerned about following as many rules and regulations as possible to better our chances for not coming back again, going back to the spiritual world. So these shamskaras are important, but this is a special time, place, and circumstance. This is Kali Yuga. And really, the most important rule or regulation we should follow is the chanting of the holy names, and specifically the original name of God, Krishna, as he's known in his hometown boy. Everyone calls him Krishna. And as we know, Namachin Tamani Krishnas Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha, he's not different than that name. So that name is so auspicious that just one syllable, Krishna, you could say is more auspicious than all the Vedic shamskaras and yajnas and rituals that are to be performed. Not to diminish their importance, but to magnify our understanding of the Maha Mantra. So powerful. Kaler dosha nidhai rajan asti eka mahaguna kirtana deva krishnasya mukta sangha param bhaja. There's only one good thing left, and that's the holy name. So my understanding is, though we try to follow all these various Vedic rituals, yes, they give us strength. But when we're engaged in the Yuga Dharma, the process for this age, which is chanting and distributing the chanting. It's not just chanting. There's plenty of sadhus up here where I am in Maharashtra in the mountains. They're chanting something, but also distributing the chanting, because that was the mood of Radha and Krishna when they came to this miserable world as one, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His whole mood was distribution, chanting and distribution. And that was the case with all his followers. down to the present day, we see Srila Prabhupada. Who is Srila Prabhupada? We're not supposed to speculate, but we know he's a very, very, very intimate servant of the Lord, of Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan, if only because we know that he was the chosen son to spread this movement, which has been, developing for 500 years to all over the world. So as his followers, we see him as the chosen son. Srila Prabhupada. What was his mood? He may be in the spiritual world wrestling with Krishna or offering a flower to Radharani. But here, what was his mood? Work now, samadhi later. Sharing Krishna consciousness. And to each his own. Everyone has a certain ability given by God, by Krishna, and everyone can participate because many hands make small work. Sankirtan means the complete glorification of the Lord. So our success in Krishna consciousness, even more than performing samskaras, is to assist Srila Prabhupada in his mood in this world. And by serving his mood in this world, we qualify to serve him in his mood in Goloka Vrindavan. So I see, special moments in my career in Krishna consciousness and trying to push forward the Sankirtan movement. Whenever there's a success, it's like that knot in the bamboo pole. It's an assurance of spiritual success. You get mercy. You've been, your service has been acknowledged by Guru and Gauranga. That's what we're looking for. That's where we get our strength to go on. To advance in Krishna consciousness and to share Krishna consciousness with others. So I have so many of those Chaitanya Mahaprabhu samskaras, for want of a better phrase. So many of those I have. In South Africa, so many. Those moments have given me wonder, given me service, given me wonder, given me spiritual strength. And I feel if I've gotten any mercy, a lot of it is because of my service to the Vaishnavas, to Prabhupada, and to Sri Sri Radharanath, Jagannath, Subhadra, Baladev, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Giriraj in South Africa. I'm kind of a latecomer. My great misfortune was that I came after the Radharanath Temple of Understanding was established. I must have performed so many sinful activities in my previous lives that I was not allowed to be present. Or let's just say I got off easy because all the hard work was done. So many devotees worked so hard to establish that project. And it's borne so much fruit. But still there were some crumbs of service left over. And of course, one is the now famous, eternally famous, Durban beachfront Rath Yatra. Yamunacharya, Shyamlal, and my humble self. And they were saying, Maharaj, it can't be done. You're wasting your time. There's too much opposition. This is SA. But we did it. Well, not only did it, but all of you have carried on with that grand Maha Mahotsava Yagya, which has made us famous throughout the entire country. So how can you, these things are enshrined, just like a samskara, it's just there in your heart. Your parents did it, or you're doing it, and your friends do it when you die. So important. For me, these are the samskaras, these moments in Krishna consciousness, serving the Sankirtan movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And there's so many things. I can go on and on, but this is your chance to talk today. But, again, taking up that theme of culturally many, but spiritually one. It's like a mantra. It's like a sutra from Vedanta Sutra. It fits in time, place, and circumstance. It's a way that we can purify and change society, to see that the real way we're all going to come together despite the diversity is that we all have a common theme in our lives. We're all brothers and sisters. We have one creator. So if there's one father, everyone else, irregardless of where they end up on this planet, in this solar system, in this universe, in this creation, we have a common bond. We're all children of God. We're all children of one God. There is no God but God. Muhammad is his prophet, but the first part's applicable. There's one God. So everyone is created by him. So we're all brothers and sisters. So although brothers and sisters, they sometimes quarrel, they tease each other, blood is thicker than water. Family attachment, stronger than any other bond in this world. So what is the real family? The family of God, the family of Krishna. And that's our message to the people of that country, because there's so much cultural diversity, so much different, so many shades of color in human society in South Africa, from really white to really black and everything else between. That's nice. Variety makes life interesting. You can meet all kinds of different people, different cultures. Rather than be envious or despise them, you can appreciate them and love them. So we have so many preparations on a plate. We should see it like that. So culture, but what is the common tie? Spirituality. Of course, you know, we have Afrikaans church, and we have so many different churches down there. But Krishna consciousness is special, as we know, for so many reasons. I don't have to go. That's why you're devotees, because you know it's special. We have so much to offer the people. This philosophy, this food, this song, these books, holy places all over India where I am now. Everywhere you step, you find something sacred. This was the original spiritual culture of this planet. Maharaj Yudhishthira was emperor in Hastinapur, near Delhi. He ruled the whole world, including South Africa. So it seems like a dream that one day the world would be Krishna conscious. Time will tell. Who knows? I mean, I've seen so many miracles by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I wouldn't doubt it. And then we move on to the next planet. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said he wouldn't be satisfied until the 14 worlds were chanting Hare Krishna. So we're not limited in our vision. We see everyone as spirit, soul, everyone as brother and sister, even the insects and the birds and the mammals. And I was up in the jungle here in a cave, and a wild dog came out of the jungle. Oh my God. And he came over and he gave me his hand. You may have seen that video. 1,200,000 views. That 45-second video of a wild, vicious dog coming out and putting his hand out in the hand of a sadhu. I rubbed his head and we exchanged that, and then he went. I miss that dog. I really do. I walk in the jungle now. I call him Rishi. Hey, Rishi. Whoa, Rishi, come on. So with this vision, we can conquer the world because we have such an attractive culture. And the South Africans are open. It's not like communist countries, you know, Belarus. It's not like, well, you know, the world's like now. You try to preach in some places, you know, you're thrown in jail in 20 minutes. South Africa, democratic country, it's got its problems. It's got its problems. But I think because Krishna consciousness is such a joyful approach, chanting, dancing, and feasting, I think people will one day embrace. But we have to preach. We have to preach. So my dilemma now is that I'm stuck on a mountaintop in Maharashtra, India, and I can't come to South Africa. I love to come down there. I've got all my friends. You know, we've been through thick and thin together. You know, we've weathered the storm. We've enjoyed our biryani together. You can't get biryani. Even in India, they don't know what's biryani. I guess they do, but they don't know how to make it like South Africa. biryani. I've got my petit pain, those little green things you have down in PE and Uitenhage. And we have our walks on the Durban beachfront, right? I've got all my friends. I've got disciples who own beautiful birds, African greys. I have very unique disciples down there. And I'm missing all of you. And I can't wait until this horrible scourge of the earth has gone. It's there for a reason. Nothing happens without a reason. I mean, Mother Earth felt it was time for some purification because of the sinful activities, although I don't say that in public. But, you know, nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever except Vrindavan. So by serving the mission in South Africa, it's exciting. You know, I very much miss King Goodwill. Hare Krishna. I miss all my friends there. Some have departed now. And, you know, we served the greater public in various ways. I had plans with King Goodwill. You know, he was very favorable. He's going to come to our next Rath Yatra. And we had some good talks together. He was going to make me a Zulu warrior. That's on my bucket list, to become a Zulu warrior. I don't know if it's going to happen now, but I've really loved him, and I miss him, and I miss a lot of people. Shruti Kirti, we worked together. Shamlal, so many devotees. But let us carry on in their memory, and one day we'll have our eternal life. Not in SA, not in Johannesburg, Kaapstad, Uitenhage, Durban, that forest which is the furthest from Vrindavan. But that's okay, that's where we want to be. Because we're Gaura Bhaktas, and we want to be where we can serve Mahaprabhu the best. So you've got a lot of challenges down there, a lot of hurdles, a lot of obstacles to overcome. But don't hesitate, don't be afraid. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, difficulties encountered in your service, my Lord, that's my greatest pleasure, to take on the obstacles. Krishna took on the demons when he was here. Prabhupada preached against the scientists and the atheists and, you know, whatever. So whatever opposition there is, we embrace that as a chance to show Krishna we're really his devotees, we're in his mood. When he comes to the world, it's to save the devotees and annihilate the miscreants and reestablish Dharma. So you have your Prabhu Desh, you have your place. Most of you are not going to be leaving South Africa unless you go to Mauritius for vacation, or maybe India. You've got your Prabhu Desh. That's your lifetime service. That's your place. That's where Mahaprabhu's placed you, or he found you and made you devotee. So work hard to deliver the people of that great country. South Africa is the one, it's very beautiful. What can compare to the beautiful beaches? Cape Town is so beautiful. Drakensberg, you see, I know all these things. How are you keeping, man? I'm 1/4 South African. How are you keeping, man? It's lekker. So thank you for giving me this opportunity to come to your country. I really pray that I can come there again and serve in whatever capacity I can. Got some years left. So I've got a lot of energy. I recently did a blood test, and the doctors couldn't believe that. Said, you're 72, but you have the health of a man in his 40s. Like, what's going on here? So yeah, let me come down there, and you know, we can do some more amazing programs, some more miracles. Why 1 or 2? Christianity has millions of miracles. We can have billions. And I think South Africa is one place that we can do that. So I've spoken long enough. I don't, you know, I'm usually giving lectures on Braj. On Vrindavan, I don't get to give lectures about the basic tenets of Krishna consciousness. So excuse me if I've talked too long, but I'm talking to the hearts of my disciples and friends and followers, that let us work together to please Srila Prabhupada, who found the time to come to South Africa. That was an obstacle getting Prabhupada there, but something in Prabhupada's heart, he wanted to go to South Africa. He didn't go everywhere, but he came to South Africa. So that says a lot. So thank you very much. South African Yatra ki, Shishibhadra Radhanath ki, Jagannath Subhadra Baladev ki, all the Vaishnavas and all the Vaishnavis of South African Yatra ki. Hare Krishna.
Shri Gurudev ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much, Shri Gurudev. It was so wonderful and inspiring to hear from you. We certainly know that Vrindavan is the only permanent place, but our service to you is access to that realm. And we are waiting for your arrival in South Africa to crown you your Zulu warriorship. And we're very grateful for your example of showing us how to share Krishna consciousness in so many ways in this country. In fact, I think many of the people here are generations that have benefited from the work of our previous generation, and that you also were part of laying that foundation to make it possible. And we're very grateful to you, and it's certainly quite a charging start to this wonderful Vyasa Puja. So we have a really exciting lineup today. Srila Gurudev Ananta Vrindavan Prabhu is with us, and he's collected some footage from South Africa. As a result, he himself is desiring to come. So we can keep that in mind for the future. But he will take us through some really nice videos. And then we also have our offerings after that. Thank you very much, Vrindavan, for setting the tone of our South African setting. Many of those places Srila Gurudev was naming, and he's been there sharing Krishna consciousness in every corner. So now we have a unique offering by Vraja Sundari and Varshana Rani. They will begin with a traditional African praise poem.
In traditional African spirit, we hail the king, King Indradumna, the mighty force who has come from the heavens. Strong and steady, brilliant and mighty, Vayade, we hail the king. Indradumna Swami is the empowered saint, who is fearless and strong. Vayade, we hail the king. My sister and I praise the king, Srila Indradumna Swami, the king of our world, the king of our hearts.
Hail Gurudev, Jai Gurudev, the divine has awarded you the grace to trek the globe with care and pace. Alas, the gods have descended within your being. Hail Gurudev, Jai Gurudev, Guruji, teacher, fundis. Language barriers do not retort, such as your power, your wisdom, your thought. The strength of a lion, yet entwined with kindness and compassion. Hail Gurudev, Jai Gurudev, Guruji, the power of the Vedas rests in your spirits. Your knowledge is a welcome place, a perfect summit. Vocal and clear, you spread the word of God. Hail Gurudev, Jai Gurudev, your aura is tranquil. We bow to your grace. Bring the material consciousness, oceanic peace and calm. Hail Gurudev, Guruji, our beloved spiritual master. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Srila Gurudev. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to your divine grace. Just a bit of an introduction or to the praise poem that Vraja Sundari and Varshana Rani had read. It was actually one of the assessments that they had at school for creative arts. And the brief was to write an African praise poem on somebody that they had admired. So they came home and they said, well, who should we write to? And both of them said, well, definitely it's Srila Gurudev. So please accept that offering in conjunction with what you've just said about being the African warrior. We do believe in our hearts that you are indeed the African warrior. Bayede Gurudev, we hail you. It is a year later, and we are all once again seated in front of our screens, connecting with each other in the virtual space. We are all exhausted at lockdowns, restrictions, and continuous watching of the COVID-19 infections and rising numbers. The world has changed. Our fear and anxiety has become heightened, and we are all on high alert. What has not changed, Srila Gurudev, or rather what has become even more meaningful, is our love for you. You have been in my world since my childhood, and I have the fondest memories of time spent in your association. I cannot imagine my life without your divine mercy, having been accepted in the disciplic succession through your kindness and love, being awarded service through your mercy, and raising a family in Krishna consciousness. Just yesterday, I spent many hours on a public speaking and preaching training. As part of the Vaishnavi ministry here in South Africa, I was able to host a webinar on developing public speakers who will be equipped to preach to several audiences. It was part one of a basic training that we had put together. It brought me to a place of greater appreciation for your quality of being able to spread the holy names at many levels. Your ability to present philosophy in Krishna consciousness, keeping the message intact, yet the perfect manner in which you tweak your dialogue shows a true empowered Swami. Having followed closely in the instruction of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Gurudev, you have bravely and fiercely strutted across the globe, powerful in words and deeds. being fearless in all that you do because you have placed complete faith in the most ferocious Lord Nrsimhadev. From a young child, I used to observe your morning puja and participate in morning japa in your room at the Sri Sri Radha Radhanath temple. During the summer months of December and January in South Africa, a beautiful look forward to was the early morning association whilst you mercifully allowed us to watch you offer your worship. Ever so often, I found myself carrying a basket and walking through the lawns of the temple picking flowers for your puja. The key ingredient in all those moments is the love that you have shown us, the association which you have freely offered. Srila Gurudev, your interaction with children is just as heartfelt as that with adults. Your impact on senior leaders of the community is just as impactful as with those that you go out and offer prasadam to. Your words and association is fulfilling to all that come within your aura. I was in communication with a good friend, Dr. A.B. Muhammad, the chairperson of the Grey Street Mosque, which is the largest Islamic place of worship in the Southern Hemisphere, and shared that it is your special day today. He asked me to please convey his best wishes to you. Also, the KZN Provincial Social Development Secretary has sent his best wishes to you. I've also just messaged Ishwar Ram Lakshman, the head of the Gopio Association, and also the anointed son of King Goodwill Zwelatini, your good friend. And he's actually said that he's going to send you a message a little later today. They all fondly remember you. They all ask of you how you are, especially during this time. This shows the deep, meaningful relationships that you have developed over the years and just how people across the globe, leaders and commoners alike, value your divine grace in their life. Srila Gurudev, your intense love for Srila Prabhupada is seen in your actions. You have used this lockdown period to continue preaching with so many podcasts and live classes, planning, preparing, and delivering, offering initiation to disciples all around the world, being present for us in every possible way, replying to emails, taking phone calls, and being available, even when you cannot be physically within our ambit. This is the true nature of the Vani and Vapu. Srila Prabhupada cautions those who just hankers for physical bonding, those who think that association with the spiritual master is physical. They are no better than a mosquito sting on the lap of a king. And what is the business of a mosquito? Simply to suck blood. Srila Gurudev, although you have been unable to be with us physically, you have made yourself available in every way possible. Such is the nature of your causeless mercy. Through all the calamities around us, your instructions, your presence, your words, and your teachings remain steadfast. Thank you for your continued mercy upon my family and I, for your unflinching love and care, and most importantly, for being that constant through all the uncertainty. I pray to be of service to you, Srila Gurudev, so that I may use this lifetime in some meaningful way. Bayede, we hail the King, for he has come. In African tradition, we praise the King, Bayede, all glories, all glories, all glories to your divine grace. Your servant, Krishnagi Radhe Dasi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Bayenge. Thank you so much, Krishnagi Radhe, Mataji, and Raja Sundari, Vaishana Rani. We really appreciate that cultural celebration, actually, of Srila Gurudev's divine qualities. And thank you so much for reminding us also of Srila Gurudev's unique offerings and his constant, as you say, during this ever-changing time. Thank you so much. We next, from Mauritius, we'd like to invite Sri Radha Kripa Kataksha.
Hare Krishna. Dear Srila Gurudev, please accept my most humble obeisances at the dust of your lotus feet. O glories to your divine grace, O glories to Srila Prabhupada, O glories to your most auspicious Vyasa Puja. Srimad Bhagavatam 10:86-52 says, one can gradually become purified by seeing, touching, worshipping temple deities, places of pilgrimage, and holy rivers, but one can attain the same result immediately, simply by receiving the glance of exalted sages. Vyasa Puja is very auspicious for a disciple, because although one is as undeserving as I, one has the chance to become purified by the merciful glance of the spiritual master. Please accept my humble offering to you. It is full of heartfelt gratitude. Srila Gurudev, you quoted a beautiful verse from Stavamala that gave me much hope. Srila Rupa Goswami prays, I am too weak and too lazy to do even the smallest devotional service. So when I hear of the peerless and difficult to perform services performed by great devotees in ancient times, my heart burns with despair. O Lord, O killer of Aghasura, when I hear that the waves of your mercy splash everyone from the demigod Brahma down to the most insignificant creature, my heart is sprinkled with a cooling drop of hope. Dear Srila Gurudev, the waves of the Lord's mercy have come splashing on me through your mercy. You are my cooling drop of hope. Your mercy is that you are a perfect guide, always making sure we stick to the process in the proper way, and teaching us how to see everything on our path as the mercy of the Lord, no matter how distressful the situation may be for us. Recently, I went through challenging times, but you always kept me fixed on the spiritual path. The sickness is secondary, you explained. This spiritual life is the real cure for material existence. Through the time and effort you put into giving us such amazing classes, I understand that Vani is indeed more important than Vapi. Through your association in this way, you teach us that hearing from the spiritual master is definitely the main, deepest, and most powerful connection. Through your classes, we learn everything from Vaishnava etiquette to the mood in which we should serve, from Srila Prabhupada's instructions on practical things to developing attachment to the Lord and his devotees and the places where he performs his pastimes. You show us the goal, you teach us how to get there, and you give us shelter, while so kindly churning the nectar in the ocean of devotion. You give us everything. Last year, someone asked me, where is Vrindavan to you? With my spiritual master, I replied, because he is always in Vrindavan. In your lectures, you keep reminding us that developing attachment for Sri Vrindavan Dham is crucial in spiritual life. For on the other side of the line drawn by Lord Balaram at Kambi Hill, everything is sublime. There, no one ever forgets Krishna or ceases to serve him. My prayer is to be on the other side of Kambi Hill with you, but I know that there is practically no hope for me to make it there. My only hope is that you have come to take all your disciples there at the safety of Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet. Will my heart ever be free from material desires? Will I ever chant the holy names of the Lord in ecstasy? Will I ever be a recipient of Krishna Prema? That I do not know. All I know is that if I follow in your footsteps and take your instructions to heart, one day I will become purified and you will take me there with you. Although I'm disappointed that I didn't get your association and the opportunity of serving you as was planned, you remind us that separation makes the heart go fonder and actually strengthens the sacred bond. I love you very much, Srila Gurudev. Happy Vyasa Puja. Your eternal servant, Shri Radha Kripa Kataksha Dasi.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Shri Radha Kripa Kataksha Mataji. It was very, very sweet and very inspiring. Thank you for sharing. So we now would like to invite Shri Ranga Devi from Shri Radharanath Temple please come to make your offering.
Hare Krishna. To my beloved spiritual master, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you on this most auspicious day of the Vyasa Puja. It's that time again, the best time of my life, where I get the opportunity to glorify my beloved spiritual master. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge as I was drowning in the ocean of material suffering in this degraded age of Kali Yuga. My spiritual master extended his hands and hauled me out. I offer my repeated obeisances unto your divine lotus feet. Firstly, I must comment that Srila Gurudev is looking more radiant and effulgent only because you are constantly absorbed in the pastimes of Vrindavan. Srila Gurudev, we gather from your webinars that you go an extra mile to research and present such incredible pastimes. Your erudition shines forth. You always say giving attention to detail is an expression of love. And we find that in your webinars, you do this. You go through so much of trial, basically so much of pain to present these wonderful webinars. Your countenance and gestures reveal the love that you exhibit for these great personalities that you glorify, like Shamananda, Pandit, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, and many others. The lessons we are learning from these great souls are invaluable. Srila Gurudev, you actually walk in their shoes. So my deduction from this is that you are one of them, an exalted personality who has been sent by Lord Chaitanya to assist Srila Prabhupada in his mission. As I meditate on your persona, I find that you present Srila Prabhupada's philosophy, instructions, etiquette, and mannerisms with great care and attention. May I please follow in your footsteps, as I'm far from that. My prayer is to become a worthy recipient of my Guru Maharaj's instructions, to make your instructions one with my heart and soul. Then I would have achieved perfection. I have fond remembrances of you at Woodstock, the Baltic coast, Rath Yatra in Durban and in Cape Town, Parikrams in Vrindavan, Mayapur, Kurukshetra, Rajasthan, and many other places. I won't forget those transcendental kirtans we had at Sanatan Goswami's Samadhi or Srivas Angam. The many lectures delivered by Srila Gurudev and senior Vaishnavas on Parikram, these remembrances will stay in my heart forever. When I leave my body, may I remember you in this way. Oh, and of course, personally serving Srila Gurudev and my interactions with you. I could write a book, but I will treasure these memories in the core of my heart, just to reminisce about the early days, the very early days in Cape Town. Once in Cape Town, I was yearning to have your association so intensely. As I walk past the office, I hear the phone ring. And nobody was there, so I answered the call. And to my surprise and astonishment, it was you on the other end. You called looking for the temple president, and he was nowhere to be found. Do you recall that conversation? I had expressed that I was feeling so much of separation from your holiness and my personal service to you. You then reassured me that everything was being taken care of in Durban. I felt a dagger piercing my heart and came to the conclusion that you don't understand what I'm going through. Little did I know that you knew well as you had the same feelings of separation when Srila Prabhupada left after he visited the Troy temple. Then you told me it was Krishna's arrangement that I was speaking to you. And I really believe that it was Krishna's arrangement, because it happened so that as I walked past the office, I got to answer the call and you were on the other end. Prior to that, I wrote a letter explaining how I was hankering for your association. And then this call. Yes, Srila Gurudev, I have firm faith that it was Krishna's arrangement. Your loving and caring demeanor always endear me to your lotus feet. Your reassuring words, whether personally or via your classes, deepen my faith in Srila Gurudev, my beloved spiritual master. Thank you for the continued inspiration, love and care. Yes, having your personal association is what I hanker for, hopefully in the near future. Happy Vyasa Puja Srila Gurudev. Lots of love from Ranga Devi Dasi.
Thank you so much, Ranga Devi, Mataji. Appreciate offering. So we will now invite Champaka Lata Mataji and Rasa Kaylee from Durban.
My dear Srila Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances at the dust of your lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to your divine grace. This year is a very significant year. Apart from it being the 125th anniversary of Srila Prabhupada's appearance on this planet, it marks 50 years since you received Diksha initiation from him. You have given your entire lifetime in service to your beloved spiritual master and set the perfect example for us. Unfortunately, I am such a fallen disciple that I have not been able to renounce all material obligations and just surrendered to following in your path of single-minded determination to solely serve Guru and Krishna. As a young 22-year-old, you gave up all material aspirations, and a mere 8 years later, at the age of 30, you even renounced family life, entered the sannyas ashram, and devoted your body, mind, and words, your entire being and life, to that of a simple mendicant traveling the globe with no fixed residence, a few items of clothing, your deities, and your laptop. In so doing, you have preached indiscriminately to people of all walks of life, touched the hearts of all those who have encountered your presence, from the cleaners in the temple to state presidents and kings, showing the same degree of respect, kindness, and compassion, regardless of financial status, level of education, or even their circle of influence. Whether it is a young devotee who just gravitates to you for a pat on the head, or an airline employee at the check-in desk, you always bestow your special brand of personal attention and kindness. The frolickers on the shores of the Polish beaches may not have realized that the saffron-clad Swami, swirling and twirling whilst dancing and singing, is actually a highly respected guru who has thousands of disciples and an international leader who, with equal ease and grace, advises statesmen and fosters goodwill and interfaith dialogue with other national and international religious leaders. Srila Gurudev, you epitomize the principle that Srila Prabhupada often referred to, that is preaching according to time, place, and circumstance. I have personally observed how you have engaged in conversation with journalists, simplified our philosophy, sharing the essence for short TV news broadcasts, addressed a gathering of the subjects of the Zulu king, coordinated the festival for the children of the Rainbow Nation, where President Nelson Mandela, his entire cabinet members, the Zulu king, and even Miss South Africa attended. Yesterday, we went together with Krishangi Radhe. I presented training for the Vaishnavis in public speaking. I found myself constantly drawing on all of these and what I learned from you in how you plan, execute, and build goodwill with those who you interact with. Despite the fact that you are a powerhouse of knowledge, you still make notes for presenting a class. This illustrates the importance of paying attention to detail and the need to exercise care in all that we do. You always make a point of getting to know the background of the persons that you are going to meet and are sensitive to their needs, interests, and concerns. In this way, your discussions with world leaders add value to not just their personal lives, but also influences their decisions, which domino effect can then be experienced by all under their purview. It's like the impact of a pebble in a pond whose ripple effects spread to the furthest ends eventually. Recently, whilst reading His Holiness Giriraj Swami's book, I'll Build You a Temple, The Juhu Story, I couldn't help but constantly draw parallels to how you arrange festivals, communicate with donors, plan festivals, guide your disciples, and affectionately care for the youth in ISKCON, like Srila Prabhupada did. When I read about the Pandal programs in Mumbai, the displaying of Srila Prabhupada's books, and the Harinams on the streets, this all resonated with how you conduct your various festivals. Giriraj Swami writes, I quote, "From Bombay, Prabhupada wrote that he wanted us to meet many government members and ministers and other important men, and to get our pictures taken with the Prime Minister, Indira Gandhi," unquote. Srila Gurudev, this is exactly what you have done in South Africa from the time you were temple president here, inviting important dignitaries to the temple for lunches, as guests of honor to our festivals, and making a point of getting in touch with politicians and government ministers, presenting them with gifts and having your photo taken with them. I am amazed as to how you are following all these instructions, although you were not present when Srila Prabhupada gave these instructions to his disciples in Mumbai. I can only conclude that you have understood his mood and plans implicitly and perfectly. Moreover, apart from understanding this, you zealously execute these instructions. They are one with your life. Alas, when I reflect on my relationship with you, Srila Gurudev, I am embarrassed, as although I have been able to glean insight into your mood, instructions, and activities by direct perception and through your classes, unfortunately, I am so fallen that I have still not given this life fully to your cause. Despite this, I beg of you, who I know to be merciful, even to strangers, to kindly engage me in your service. I long for that day when you will be back in Durban and call me to action as your foot soldier. I am far from being an Uttama disciple, and I am dependent on your guidance and instruction. Hence, I implore you to hear my plea, to use me as your instrument. I long to be able to serve you again. This is my heart's desire. Please be merciful upon me. Your servant, Champakalata Dasi. Hare Krishna, Srila Gurudev. I'll hand it to Rasa now.
Dear Srila Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to your divine grace. I cannot believe that it has been over a year and a half since we have last seen each other in person. The COVID-19 pandemic has caused many of us to make drastic changes in our lives, and I am glad that we are able to communicate on Zoom on this most auspicious occasion of your Vyasa Puja. Throughout my life, you, Srila Gurudev, have always been there to share in my memorable moments. You whispered the holy names in my ear when I was only a one-day-old baby, and now I am 21 years old. Thank you for always showering your love and blessings upon my family and me, and being my source of spiritual strength. I follow your posts on Facebook when I am able to, and on the 13th of June, you posted a picture of Mr. Y.A. Tittle and a description about how he is one of your most beloved heroes. This idea of having heroes that are not Hare Krishna devotees resonated with me because, as you know, I was inspired to sing by watching young teenage singers perform on television. Furthermore, the fact that you indicated that Mr. Tittle inspired you to be a leader, and you told your dad that you hope to give your life for something, a cause one day, really touched my heart. Mr. Tittle may have been a player for the San Francisco 49ers, as you told me when over at lunch in Durban in 2015, but his determination to play led you to find your calling, which was to be a leader and an initiating guru in ISKCON. I also remember something that you omitted from the Facebook post, namely that your father took you to the stadium and you actually personally met Mr. Y.A. Tittle. If my memory serves me correctly, Mr. Tittle even showed you how to make a touchdown or something like that. In 2018, when you came to Durban, South Africa, you told me to use whatever talent I had to serve Krishna. I'll be honest, my voice is not the best when singing in Sanskrit, but I still sing when I do arti at home. When my dearest pet dog passed away, I was grateful when I had a phone call from you 2 months later, and I was still grieving. I told you that her last meal was prasadam. You reassured me that she is okay and well in the body of a devotee. She will be chanting Hare Krishna. Thank you for always comforting me, Srila Gurudev. You have such a cheerful disposition that whenever you come home in Durban, I can't help but smile. My ears are always wrapped with attention to absorb the nectar of your preaching. I miss you very much. Have a wonderful Krishna conscious birthday celebration, Srila Gurudev. Your insignificant servant, Rasakeli.
Krishna. Thank you so much, Rasakeli and Chambakalata Mataji. It's we have the saying, Srila Gurudev, I think it's in the US as well. In Afrikaans, they say, the appel val nie ver van die boom nie. It means that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And it's referring to how the child of the parent can carry those qualities. And it's so nice to see these offerings of mother and daughters so far. So thank you very much. And we have another member of the younger generation. I'd like to invite Raghunath Prabhuji, if you would like to make your offering to Srila Gurudev.
Hare Krishna, dear Peter Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Shri Shri Rajaratnath, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Happy Vyasa Puja, another year older, but by the Lord's mercy, you always have the energy to go out and preach Mahaprabhu's message, even in the Amazon. You share this love of Krishna to so many people around the world, bringing them to this fun family of Srila Prabhupada. Your videos helped us all during this lockdown. I miss having cheese toast with you on the small table and the ISKCON Gulab race. We can't wait for your arrival in South Africa. Love from your servant Raghunath. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Raghunath Prabhuji. Really appreciate your words and happy that you could share with us today. For Srila Gurudev's pleasure. Okay, next we have Guru Sevika.
Hare Krishna. Can you hear me?
Yes, maybe just a little louder.
Okay. Dearest Srila Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to the dust of your lotus feet. Gurudev, today I would like to offer you my appreciation and gratitude on the special day of your Vyasa Puja. Gurudev, you wave your magical wand, and just like that, my entire life changes. I was entangled in this material world, hoping for some happiness and enjoyment, getting myself more and more entangled. But just then you arrived and grabbed my hand and pulled me onto the Jaladuta back to Godhead. I am forever in debt to you for saving my life and taking me on board. Thank you for allowing me to take shelter under your lotus feet and accepting me as your spiritual daughter. I will never forget that moment when you said, from this day forth, you will be known as Guru Sevika Dasi. This beautiful name means so much to me as it begins with Guru. I feel so honored to have a name that connects yours to mine because Guru for me means everything, my entire life and soul. If it wasn't for your mercy and blessings, I don't know what I would be doing. Guru Kripa is the reason why I'm still surviving and somehow managing every day. Please, Gurudev, I beg of you, never let go of this unworthy servant of yours. I know I don't deserve this, but thank you very much for having faith in me and seeing something that even I don't see in myself. I really need you, and I'm fully dependent on serving your lotus feet. I live on Guru Kripa. Gurudev, I was recalling your stay with us in Durban, South Africa. I will never forget our japa walks on the beachfront. You were still recovering, yet you invited the devotees to join you on your japa walk. I always wondered what it was like to be on Srila Prabhupada's japa walks. This japa walk was nevertheless the same, a dream come true. I feel so honored to hold your shoes the entire japa walk, those very same shoes which carry your lotus feet. And by your mercy, that day I got the opportunity to hold your shoes very close to my heart. Thank you for allowing me to serve you. My only desire is to serve you by sitting at your lotus feet lifetime after lifetime. Gurudev, your Food for Life adventures are amazing. It made all the people chant the Maha Mantra. The young and old were chanting and dancing. You spoke to all the people and made them understand why we chant this Maha Mantra. This was no ordinary thing to see how those children learned how to chant the Maha Mantra. Your causeless mercy was spread to all those people, and they were also very happy to get some prasadam. Towards the end, you joined them. You joined all the children and danced ecstatically, jumping and spinning around with your hands in the air, almost as if Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was present within you. That day, I got to experience what it was like to be on real Sankirtan. You had spread the Maha Mantra by chanting and dancing through that town by transcendental sound vibration. Dearest Gurudev, I got to meet so many wonderful, kind, and loving devotees along the way, and I'm so proud to call them my God brothers and God sisters. I have learned so much from them, and they really inspire me. If it wasn't for you today, I would have missed out on their association. Gurudev, I really miss you and I love you very much. I honestly can't wait to serve you again, and I'm waiting for that day patiently. Thank you for all those instructions through your classes and showing us the real way home back to Godhead. No matter how busy you are, you take the time to speak to me and read my super long messages. I really appreciate all those surprise calls from you, Gurudev, and I look forward to them. My heart yearns to speak to you and serve you. Thank you very much for everything you do. Wishing you a very happy Vyasa Puja. Your servant, Guru Sevika Dasi.
Thank you so much, Guru Sevika Mataji. Thank you for reminding us of Srila Gurudev's magic wand, how he transforms us all, and especially that you mentioned the Food for Life, because we now have a video, again compiled by Ananta Vrindavan Prabhu, about our Food for Life in South Africa, after which I will ask if Gopika Sundari will help us with the introductions and some of the emceeing from this point on. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Never go pray. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you so much, Ananta Vrindavan Prabhu, for showing us another way in which Srila Gurudev brings so much happiness, joy, and transcendental inclusion to South Africa. Next, we'd like to invite Ramuna Priya Mataji from Johannesburg to give her offering.
Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to my dear spiritual master on this Vyasa Puja. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verse 34, he said that Viri Pranipadena, Pariprashrena Sevaya, Upadakshyanti Te Gyaninas Tattva Darshana. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. Self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. Last year, through to February this year, we were fortunate enough to be able to study for our Bhakti Shastri degree with the online classes given by His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami Maharaj. Maharaj took us through the glories of the spiritual literature with the erudite commentary provided by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan, and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Swami. We also studied the books of Srila Rupa Goswami. It was a life-changing experience that allowed us to hear from a pure soul like His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami. But more importantly, it drove home the point of the importance of the spiritual master in our individual spiritual journeys. The verse I quoted was one of the ones that we had to learn or to recite to our teacher. And it truly resonated with me, Srila Gurudev, because it highlighted the significance of you in my life. In the purport of this verse, Srila Prabhupada states, I quote, therefore, mental speculation or dry arguments cannot help leading one to the right path, nor by independent study of books of knowledge can one progress in spiritual life. One has to approach a bona fide spiritual master to receive their knowledge. Such a spiritual master should be accepted in full surrender, and one should serve a spiritual master like a menial servant without false prestige. I look forward to the day when my devotional service will meet your satisfaction, not because I believe they are so good, but because they are currently so bad. But I am comforted by Srila Prabhupada's words in the same purport that, I quote, a bona fide spiritual master is by nature very kind towards his disciple. I pray that one day, Srila Gurudev, I am fortunate enough to deserve your kindness. The devotee by the name of His Grace Giridhari Prabhu, Giridhari Gopal Das wrote, the spiritual master is the one who gives us the perception of understanding of the spiritual world. By your bi-weekly YouTube classes, we have seen a hint of what the spiritual world is like. By your varied descriptions of the Lord's pastimes, we have been given a glimpse of the spiritual sky. And by your dogged determination and endless quest for knowledge, We have heard pastimes not spoken of before, all by the grace of your spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. I recently had a life-changing experience, Srila Gurudev, and apart from the trauma of the event, I was mortified by the fact that I did not remember Krishna at such a trying time. I was consoled by the words of my two Shiksha Gurus, His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami and His Holiness Parthasarati Das Goswami Maharaj, who told me that it is telling that I didn't remember Krishna, but this incident should be a turning point for me in my spiritual endeavors. I was told that even if I did not remember Krishna, he remembered me. I hoped the latter to be true because I'm still alive today. I have made a solemn attempt to be better, Srila Gurudev, but I realize I know that this is not possible without your mercy. I promise to make more of an endeavor to hear the divine message from you, because it is a balm for my suffering in this material world. I promise to listen to your words patiently, follow you and your instructions with conviction, and bow down to you in utter helplessness, humility, and gratitude for being my spiritual master. I pray for your mercy to use this human life for the development of my Krishna consciousness and not to misuse it in the pursuit of this material enjoyment. I pray at your lotus feet, dearest Srila Gurudev, to never forget me and to take me with you when you reach that spiritual abode, if you believe I am deserving enough. Perhaps not in this lifetime, but somewhere down the line. I pray that once this pandemic is over and travel is permissible, that you will choose South Africa as your first country to visit. Hare Krishna, I shall always remain your servant, Ramana Priyavasi. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Ramuna Priyamataji, for sharing your realizations on the importance of Srila Gurudev's mercy. Next, we will have Jarakanda Sevaki read her offering.
Hare Krishna, Srila Gurudev, please accept my obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Durga me pati me nidhasya shakalat vatagatir muhu swakripa yasni dhanena shantastam avalambanam. My path is very difficult. My feet are slipping again and again. Therefore, may the saints help me by granting me the stick of their mercy as my support. To my dearest ray of Sri Nityananda, Lord Nityananda connects souls to his lotus feet and to Lord Chaitanya. And in the same way, Srila Gurudev, you are one of my deepest connections to this grace. My solace forever remains entwined at your lotus feet. The ink that binds us. The wise Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, confidential and associate of grace, writes the pastimes of the ever-increasing mercy. His Holiness Bhakti Charaswami would often describe the Lord's pastimes to be like that of the perfect dramatic performance set upon a grand stage, every element delicately strung together, leaving the heart of the viewer fully wrapped. In the same way, the Lord of Mercy manifested his pastimes. And putting ink to paper, the saint Kaviraj brought these pastimes to the hearts of the readers. In the same way, Srila Gurudev, I would like to borrow the ink of the pen of the saint and attempt to write about the saint that resides within my heart, you, Srila Gurudev. My vision of grace. It is described that of all rivers, Mother Ganga carries deep grace. Her waters transcendentally potent. What can one really offer to her? So it is described that one offers her very own waters back to her. In the same way, Srila Gurudev, you hold so much of deep potency along this existential journey, purifying everyone you meet with your grace. So what can a fool like myself really offer to you? So on this day, what I offer to you is myself. So please use me in your service to your divine master, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Narottam Das Thakur writes, just by bathing in the waters of the sacred Ganges many times one becomes purified. But just by the saint of Vaishnav Thakur, all the fallen souls are purified. This is his great power. Thank you so much, Srila Gurudev, for being my vision of purity. Srila Gurudev, you are a saint who has perfect vision, Pandita Samadarshana. You carry that rare quality which brought about the favorable glance of the Lord to King Pataprarudra, that mood of Gopi Bharata Badakamalayur, Dasa Dasa Anudasa. You truly care so intrinsically for the ultimate well-being of everyone you encounter. The way in which you always extend the resonating mercy drums of the Sankirtan movement. You know, we hear of the story of Shivananda Sen and the little dog that he adopted along his parikrama journey to Jagannath Puri. The dog didn't have much qualifications, but he had the merciful glance of Shivananda Sen, and this mercy was his ticket to the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Similarly, Kamalaya and Parameshwar, they were in the association of a jackal, and a jackal is considered to be of low birth. But by the association of saints, even this jackal was purified by the holy name. In the same way, Srila Gurudev, I'm of low birth, of low class, but one of my deepest graces is that I'm connected to you. So I'm so deeply grateful to Krishna for this connection. O Sharagrahi Vaishnav soul, I often reflect on the very beautiful lectures you give during initiations to your wonderful disciples, and you describe the way in which, you hope to one day place the hand of your disciples into Srimati Radharani's in the groves of Sri Brajadam. Upon pondering this very beautiful concept, within my heart, it was so apparent that you are always associated with Srimati Radharani and you are her confidential associates. As through everything you do, you carry the land of Vrindavan with you and you preach the glories of this most glorious land. And, personally within my life recently, you've shown me the importance of Sri Vrindavan Dham and the importance of serving Gauranga Mahaprabhu and the divine couple, making them the Lord within our hearts. Thank you so much. You, Srila Gurudev, are a confidential associate of our hometown boy, like you said today, Shri Krishna. And I'm forever grateful to be connected to you. And thank you so much for all your guidance. I love you with all my heart. Your eternal servant and spiritual daughter, Sevaki Dasi. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Jarakanda Sevaki, for such an eloquent offering. We would next like to invite Kamala Sita Dasi for her offering from Germany.
Yes. Hare Krishna, Srila Gurudev. Greetings from Germany. Although I'm here in Europe, my heart is still in South Africa. Dear Srila Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. In my Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita Katha group, we are currently reading Bhagavad Gita chapter 6. We are discussing how the mind can be our greatest enemy, but also our greatest friend. The difference between the two mindsets is the realization that we are meant to serve and remember Krishna. Our mind is like an unruly child that needs to be raised into a responsible adult. Our lives are like a giant sandbox, and we each get a box of toys from Krishna to play with. Before we come to Krishna consciousness, we think that these toys are there for our enjoyment, and we use them fully for our selfish desires. When we come to Krishna consciousness, we start to learn again that our toys are tools and belong actually to Krishna. In the past year and a half, you have systematically and very thoroughly led us through Krishna's playground. Through your lectures, you have taught us that the toys we get from Krishna are there to share with others and to serve him. The pandemic has brought to the foreground how unruly and untrained my mind still is. It still wants to dominate the playground. It still clings to the box of toys, but you have shown me by your example what it looks like to have a mind that is fully absorbed in the transcendental play of Krishna consciousness. Especially this year, but don't misunderstand me. I think you're always absorbed in Krishna and Srila Prabhupada in whatever you do, but with all your other duties put on ice for more than a year, you have demonstrated what it is to have a mind completely at ease with itself and Krishna. You have used this pandemic to gain depth in your relationship with Srila Prabhupada and Krishna. You look at the situation in front of you and you have been making the absolute best of it. Where others have gone crazy and have fallen back to old habits because they don't have the usual distractions, you have stayed the course and remained the steadfast captain of our ship in this tumultuous time. A few months ago, someone told me that they don't like the term kami, but rather think of people as practicing Vaishnavas and non-practicing Vaishnavas. I immediately thought of you because it is how you made me feel the first time that I met you. You treated my questions with such respect, and you have shown my family, especially my father, the same kind of compassion. Even a wild dog from India receives only love from you. When I look at you, how you deal with people and practice your bhakti, I realize my heart is still an ice cavern, cold and silent. My temper, my judgment, my pride have stripped it of all life. But deep within, you have lit the fire of hope again, and my vow is to keep it burning. I don't have the words to describe my gratitude towards you for accepting me as your daughter, for showing me how to conduct myself in difficult situations. Thank you for all your love and compassion and the walk through the Vrindavan forests. Thank you for giving me the shelter in this crazy world. Srila Gurudev, please bless me that my heart may fill with love and compassion like yours, and that my mind may become my friend and a servant of Krishna. I pray that Lord Nrsingadev continue to shelter you and guide you. Your servant Kamalasita Dasi. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Kamalasita, for that all the way from Germany. Next, we would like to invite Sukumari Mataji from Shri Shri Radharanath Temple.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to your divine grace and all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Krishna has blessed me with many wonderful gifts. One that I hold close to my heart is my great fortune of having had your association since joining the temple in the early 90s. I'm grateful that my Guru Maharaj has encouraged me to find a way to serve you every day. He would say, Maharaj is an exalted follower of Srila Prabhupada and a frontline soldier in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. Never miss an opportunity to serve him. When I look back at my early days of staying in the temple, I see so much of your involvement in my life as an aspiring devotee. I know you genuinely care for my spiritual growth. You want me to go deeper in my hearing and chanting. So much strength I got from chanting in your association. How much I miss those days. Despite my many shortcomings, you have still given me so many opportunities to serve you and your deities. This I cherish so much. I never knew so much strength comes from serving. In your association, you have helped me increase my appreciation of my Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. You have shown how we should interact with big devotees and small devotees, how to be compassionate to those who are lacking Krishna consciousness, and how the holy name can reveal everything to us. I pray all this never leave my heart. It has not been easy serving under lockdown for over a year. If it had not been for your lectures on Vrindavan twice a week, my service to the Vaishnavas and Shri Shri Radharanath would have been so mechanical. You are helping me go deeper in my service to Guru and Gauranga. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Despite my lack of sincerity, please never disown me. I am dependent on your guidance and mercy and love to go forward in my Krishna consciousness. I pray to serve you eternally. Your grateful servant, Sukumari Dasi.
Thank you very much, Sukumari Mataji, for those wise words as always. Next, we would like to invite Sweet Gorangi to give her offering.
Hare Krishna. Dear Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances at your sweet pink lotus feet. Happy Vyasa Puja. I am now chanting a minimum of 14 rounds a day, and I pray that with your mercy, I can increase this to a minimum of 16. I thank you for encouraging me in this way to become more serious. I remember as a child, Ratha Yatra would be something to look forward to. I remember the kirtan that you held, and I remember dancing along and with you to it. You were the guru who would happily trade your delicious tomato sauce chips for dry chips, or your silver plate for a paper one, so that I could have those. The guru who gifted me more than once with soft toys, and who always gave me love. Thank you, Gurudev, for giving me love and for encouraging me to be a better devotee. Because now I want to chant, I want to explore and understand our culture, and I want to practice bhakti. And this is all due to your mercy. Oh, how merciful could one be to take such a playful little child and turn her into an aspiring devotee of Lord Krishna. Thank you, Gurudev, for tolerating me and just always being there when I needed someone. Thank you for helping me to progress through my spiritual life. And thank you for always being kind and caring towards me. And for always making the time for me. Have a wonderful day. I can't wait to see you again, as I am really missing you. Kanu and Mata loves you a lot, and I do too. Happy birthday.
Thank you so much, Gorangi, for such a lively offering highlighting Srila Gurudev's generosity and playfulness. Really loved it. Next, we'd like to invite Krishna Rupa Dasi, who will be giving us something different, something exciting. I'll let her introduce it.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to you. Today I'll be offering a short musical offering. It's a composition by German composer and violinist Ferdinand Kuchler. This short piece is buoyant, joyful, and full of light. So I thought that since you are the embodiment of those qualities on the transcendental level, this may be a fitting tiny offering.
Wow, Krishna Rupa, your talent is astounding. That was the perfect way to celebrate Srila Gurudev's Vyasa Puja. Thank you for such an artfully played piece. We would now like to invite Ravi Prabhu from Mauritius to read his offering.
O Gurudev, please accept my humble words of praise unto your glorious self. Ever since I joined ISKCON at the age of 18, I learned that Shri Krishna recommended one to approach a spiritual master if we want to know him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I didn't know what was meant by a guru. I was a bit challenging at first, but unknowingly I started stalking you, if I can say, on the internet and YouTube for nearly 10 years, because I really loved your adventurous and jovial mood in preaching. It always attracted me. You were like a superhero for me through all your adventures into the Amazon, to the Mongolia and tops of Rishikesh. I have watched all videos on YouTube where you are featuring delivering a class, leading kirtans, organizing festivals. One of the most blissful moments of my life have been when I was associating with you and your beloved associates during Parikrama time in Vrindavan. But at first, it wasn't physically. I was always following you and your associates in Vrindavan through the YouTube videos. I have practically grown up in my spiritual life around those amazing kirtans and mind-blowing mellow lectures from you, Gurudev, from His Grace Badhari Prabhu, His Grace Chaturatma Prabhu, Her Grace Sitala Mataji, and His Grace Madhava Prabhu. I must also heartfully thank and glorify your dear disciple, His Grace Ananta Vrindavan Prabhu, for uploading all those videos on YouTube, which must have taken great patience and dedication from his part. I was totally addicted to those parikrama videos. Without those videos, I wouldn't have found my guru. I'm sorry. And I don't know, I would have become sentimental, I'm sorry. And indeed, after years of associating with you online, I finally got the opportunity to meet you personally during Vrindavan. Actually, I was undecided yet to attend your parikrama too, but as I say, a brief Lava Mata Sadhu Sangha, a very brief association with His Grace Badhari Prabhu just the night before your parikrama of 2019. I quickly made my decision to attend your parikrama, which was indeed my greatest dream ever after 10 years of following you online. And I must say, 10 years, I was undecided who would be my guru. But then I knew what it feels to know who is your guru. It was such a natural feeling and relationship. That's why I was so at ease at calling you my guru without any reservation. Oh, I'm sorry. A great mystery became crystal clear during the Parikrama 2019, and I approached you and talked to you for the first time in my life on top of the Nrsimha temple halfway through Govardhan Parikrama, and expressed my desire to become your disciple. At the end time that will be ever memorable in my life. It was my greatest fortune that you accepted me right on the spot. And actually, I thought I would have to go through a few more times of requests if you would accept me, but I was really astounded that you accepted me on spot. And I remember just before I was leaving Vrindavan, I wanted to meet you and ask for some direct instruction from you. And you said, just be happy and stay in Vrindavan. And I was a bit confused. How would I stay in Vrindavan? I'm actually leaving Vrindavan. But it came to be that the lockdown period came and you were giving your lectures. And I'm trying to associate with you through your wonderful lectures every week. And they transport me directly into the Parikrama's atmosphere. I feel I'm in Vrindavan whenever I hear you, Gurudev. Whenever I feel down, I just watch your videos, lectures, and kirtans online and feel much solace in it. Your Vani has a power of dousing the fire of material existence. You're always dancing and chanting in ecstasy the holy names. You engage and inspire us in the beautiful worship of the lordships, and the eagerness with which you listen to Krishna Katha is awe-inspiring, Gurudev. You make so nice arrangements for the distribution of holy names through the Woodstock Festival and Vrindavan Parikrama and Rath Yatras. Vande Guru Shri Charanara Vindam, you are the very definition of a spiritual master. How can I not glorify such a spiritual master? I dig the earth and lay flat on earth to offer you my most grateful and humble obeisances. Thank you very much, Gurudev, for everything you've done for me. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Ravi Prabhu, for such a heartfelt offering. Next, we will have Sweet Rajagopi reading her offering.
Hare Krishna to everybody in the Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all glories to you on this auspicious day of your Vyasa Puja. I cannot find the words to express my gratitude for your loving encouragement ever since I was a kid. You have shown that much compassion, the tolerance within me. You are such a wonderful example of a Guru Maharaj, timelessly traveling around the world, around the globe, and teaching us about Lord Krishna. You will always be my well-wisher, and I'm eternally grateful for your kindness. And I am fortunate enough to meet a loving and caring Guru Maharaj like you. Your humble African princess, Rajagopi, and Radhesham. Haribol.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rajagopi and Radhesham Prabhu. African princess, love it. Next, we will have Prema Vilas Das from Mauritius.
Hare Krishna, dear Shri Gurudev. Please accept my obeisances at the dust of your lotus feet. Let us feed all glory to Srila Prabhupada. It is my great fortune that I am able to address you a few words on the occasion of your Vyasa Puja. However much I may try to glorify you, I will always fall short. But still, I would like to appreciate the unparalleled love that you have for your own spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is a center of all your activities, but the love that you exhibit for Srila Prabhupada is not merely a superficial sentiment. I have observed that you're always conscious of him and are always endeavoring to please, satisfy, serve, and represent Srila Prabhupada, his movement, and his teachings. I remember a little incident that happened in Jaipur. During Kartik 2012, we traveled to Karoli, and you observed that some devotees were dressed casually so as to be comfortable during the long and tedious voyage from Vrindavan. So after taking darshan of Sri Radha Madan Mohan, we all gathered in the back of the temple for kirtan and lecture. There, you requested that everyone, especially the ladies, should dress nicely in Vaishnava clothes whenever we are moving around during parikrama. They should dress in nice saris and the men should dress in dhotis and kurtas. And that we should tolerate even if it becomes uncomfortable. You said this would please you very much if devotees would follow it. So after Karoli, we reached Jaipur on that same day. And the next morning, you took all the devotees for the morning program at the Radha Govindaji temple. All the devotees had listened to your request, and everyone was dressed very nicely in Vaishnava clothing. After taking darshan of Srila Govindaji, the devotees followed you as you went around the parikrama corridor of the temple. At that time, I was back at the back of the temple hall. All the local people were very impressed by the devotees. In one corner, there were some elderly local men and women who were talking in their own language, in the local language. I could not help overhear how impressed they were by the devotees and their appreciation of the dress and behavior of the ladies. They lamented that their own children, although born in India, did not have the interest and enthusiasm in their culture. This made me realize that you were always very concerned about representing and reviving Vedic culture as per the desire of Srila Prabhupada. Dear Srila Gurudev, I would also like to thank you a million times for the nectarian classes that you give. Listening to your classes is my greatest source of joy in Krishna consciousness. In Krishna book, chapter 80, Parikshit Maharaj addresses Sukadev Goswami as follows. I quote, I therefore wish to hear about other pastimes of his, Krishna, which you may not have described as yet. My dear master, the conditioned souls within this material world are frustrated by searching out the pleasure of happiness derived from sense gratification. Such desires for material enjoyment are always piercing the hurts of conditioned souls. But I am actually experiencing how the transcendental topics of Lord Krishna's pastimes can relieve one from being affected by such material activities of sense gratification. I think that no intelligent person can reject this method of hearing the transcendental pastimes of the Lord again and again. Simply by hearing, one can remain always steeped in transcendental pleasure. Thus, one will not be attracted by material sense gratification. Srila Prabhupada further writes, the devotee becomes jubilant by hearing the descriptions of the personal activities of the Supreme Lord. This is my condition when I listen to you, narrating the nectarian pastimes in your classes. I wish that I can listen to you again and again, and just like Parikshit Maharaj, I am eager to listen to those stories and pastimes that you have not yet told and that you will tell in the future. Dear Srila Gurudev, on the occasion of your Vyasa Puja, I pray that I may be able to render some menial service to you, service at the dust of the lotus feet of a spiritual master, guarantees success in Krishna consciousness. I also pray that I can faithfully follow you in sharing Krishna consciousness with others, and that I can give up all superficiality and become a sincere practitioner of Krishna consciousness like you. Thank you very much, Gurudev. I miss you very much. Your disciple, Prema Vilas Das. Hare Krishna.
Jai, thank you, Prema Vilas Prabhu, for sharing some nice pastimes with Srila Gurudev from Parikram. Next, we would like to invite Gaur Premi Devi Dasi from Johannesburg.
Namo Om Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prastaya Bhutale, Srimati Indradana Swami Namine, Namo Prabhupada Dasya, Draganatya Trinandamurte, Bhakta Sakya, Krishna Kirtanena, Narasimena Rakshitaya Namaha. My dear Srila Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada in the glorious year of his 125th appearance anniversary. All glories to the most beloved Lord of my life, Sri Guru, and to the light of the three worlds, Sri Gauranga. This most useless and arrogant of your aspiring servants offers her respects and love to you on this most auspicious day. And my mind drifts to the Bhakti Sastri course last year and how the realization that Krishna really does carry what his devotees lack in Bhagavad Gita 9:22 profoundly melted me into sobs on the morning of our Bhagavad Gita exam. The Supreme Controller himself personally delivering whatever his devotee needs. Yes, I've heard it before, but I only realized it that morning. Such an amazingly, remarkably loving, caring, and compassionate Lord is not conceivable by the standards of the painful and deceptive material world that we are in. But of course, he would have to be such in order to still deeply love and actively chase after all his wayward children who have abandoned him, forgotten him, sometimes using and even abusing him. It makes one feel so, dare I say it, sorry for such an unselfishly loving person who is being perpetually hurt and ignored. But then further on in the 31st verse of the most confidential of all Vedic knowledge, a subtler point added a layer of extraordinary to that realization. When the simply wonderful Krishna really wants to make a deep promise, like the most sacred ones to his beloved devotees, he chooses to declare it through his devotees themselves. Because another of his endearing traits is that he always upholds his devotees' words to be true, even if he sometimes cannot fulfill his own. So when you promised Karana Shakti Dasi many years ago that she would never want for anything when we were facing poverty and ruination, Krishna had to fulfill the words of his dearest devotee and carry everything to us that we would ever need. You then assured her that it would be better for me to leave home to study when the thought simply terrified her. And once again, the Lord had to prove your words true, as he personally walked me through many years of travels, travails, and ultimate triumphs in ways that we could never imagine, but you could. That power behind the breath of vision arises from your pure heart, which has always held an unfathomable amount of love and concern for this wretched being, to see her succeed in every way, despite all the odds. Srila Prabhupada says in the purport of Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila 1, chapter 146 purport, only out of his immense compassion does the personality of Godhead reveal himself as the spiritual master. And though jaundiced, these eyes of mine have always been able to recognize the sweetness of that compassion in you. I so desperately wish that I could have been a better child, a better servant, a better follower, and a better devotee to reciprocate in the way that you wholly deserve. As I lament for how Krishna feels when the conditioned souls turn from his unconditional and loving heart, I simply mourn for the many years that I've spent being the selfish and spoiled child of your beautiful spiritual family, while you never judged me, never turned away from me, never gave up on me, and never stopped praying for me. Indeed, I could never imagine amidst all the splendid outpourings of your devotion, festivals, parikramas, kirtans, writings, and more, that you could make time to pray for a despicable me. But you assured me once that you did such. You had asked me then that I write to you so that you would know what to pray to Krishna for. And even when I've been so selfishly wrapped up in life to neglect that duty, you've come to display to me in my dreams that you still know exactly what is going on in my life, that you care so immensely about it, and that you're always praying and wishing for the very best for your prodigal daughter, even if I don't realize it. For the disgraceful mess that I am inside, these prayers have carried me into a propriety of being that is far more than I will ever deserve. Yet you give me all the credit for achieving this, with an affectionate pride in your voice whenever you've mentioned it over the years, and the epithet of self-made woman to a woman who was actually made into something by your grace alone. That grace is what set me free once, even though there was the eventuality that I might never return to you. Some lessons simply can't be learned conventionally. And I've regretted this many times over the years when I think of how much time I lost in the abyss of my choices. But the most incredible truth came out of that densely painful experience. You loved me enough to let me go and experience what I thought might make me happy, and that mattered more to you than your own control over my life. You've just always cared about my own happiness, even when my definition of it was so deeply flawed. So that's it. That's love. And that's what you wrapped me up in, to face the coldness of Maya, to keep me protected on the razor's edge of spiritual life, and to transform into the wings that will deliver me into the eternal kingdom. Adhama Pamara Mui Hina Jipadhama Ora Ichahaya Panya Chaitanya Charana. I am the lowest of men, the most sinful, fallen, and condemned. Nevertheless, I desire to attain shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Vamana Hanya Yena Chanda Tari Bahare Chaya Anekayatna Kainu Tate Kavi Siddhanaya. Like a dwarf who wants to catch the moon, I have tried my best many times, but I have never been successful. Tomara Kripa Vinya Keha Chaitanya Napaya. Tumi Kripa Kaile Tanre Adameha Paya. No one can attain the shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu without your mercy. But if you are merciful, even the lowest of men can attain shelter at his lotus feet. You're utterly foolish and degenerate servant of the servant of the servant, Gaura Premi Devidasi.
Thank you, Gaura Premi, for a sincere offering for Srila Gurudev's pleasure. Next, we would like to invite your mom to speak, Karuna Shakti Mataji.
Haribol, can you hear me?
Yes, we
Haribol?
can. Yes, we can,
Okay.
Mataji.
Nama O Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimati Indra Swami iti namine. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhute Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami iti namine. Nama Prabhupada Priyadasa Jagannatha Yatrananda Murtaye Bhakta Sakaya Krishna Kirtanena Nashramahena Raksataya Namaha. Our dearest Srila Gurudev, please accept my most humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you, Srila Guru. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. We have so much to express our gratitude to you for. The world that would full pages of appreciation. But especially we have to say thank you for so much for the wonderful and interesting lectures that you have been delivering to the world in the last year. Thank you for the melodious kirtans that you make us dance even indoors. And thank you for the amazing parikramas that we hope to join you soon. This poem is dedicated to you from our hearts, looking back on what we faced in this tumultuous year. Holding on your lotus feet has saved us from all fear. Sabda Brahman, in a way we've never heard before, Vrindavan classes pierce the air to bring us the most pure. How clear it is to us that you are a perfect Rajabasi, come to guide us back home out of your causeless mercy. Through you, we see the goal of life and hanker to attain your company with Radhe Shyam in the Dham again. Your most fallen and foolish servants of the servants, Karuna Shakti Dasi and Omkar, Durban, South Africa.
Thank you very much, Karuna Shakti Mataji. Okay. Okay, the echo's gone. Perfect. Next, we'd like to invite the brothers Balu, as he's affectionately known, or Balaram, and Sankarshan for their musical offering.
Gurudev Kripa bindu diya Koro edase Trina pekayatina Gurudev Kripa bindu diya Koro edase Trina pekayanti Trina Sakala sahane Bala diya koro निज मन स्पृहाहीना सकल सहारे बल दिया कोरो निज मन स्पृहाहीना गुरुदेव कृपा बिंदु दिया करो हे दास दीन पे गया दीना गुरुदेव कृपा बिंदु दिया करो हे दास दीन पे गया सकाले समाना कोरिते सकाती देवनाथ जाता जाता सकले समाना कोरिते सकाती देवनाथ जाता जाता तबे तो गाइबो हरि नाम सुके अपराध हागे नाथा तबे तो गाइबो हरि नाम सुके अपराध हागे नाथा गुरुदेव कृपा बिंदु दिया करो हे दास दीन पे गया दीना गुरुदेव कृपा बिंदु दिया करो हे दास दीन पे गया कबे नो कृपा लबिया जाना कृतार्थ होए नाता कबे नो कृपा लबिया जाना कृतार्थ होए नाता शक्ति बुद्धिहीना আমি আতি দীনা তোর মরে আত্মা সদা শক্তি বুদ্ধিহীনা আমি আতি দীনা তোর মরে আত্মা সদা गुरुदेव कृपा बिंदु दिया करो हे दास दीन पे गया दीना गुरुदेव कृपा बिंदु दिया करो हे दास दीन पे गया दीना जो ज्ञात विचारे किछु नाही पार तुम्हारा करुणा सारा जो ज्ञात विचारे किछु नाही पार तुम्हारा करुणा सारा करुणा
Thank you, Sankarshan and Balu, for that beautifully melodious rendition of Gurudev Kripa Bindu. It was really wonderful. Up next, we'll have the lovely couple, Brajamadav and Shama Premi.
Dear Shri Gurudev, Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Shri Prabhupada, all glories to you. This is my first Vyasa Puja offering that I have ever written to you. In fact, this is the first proper Vyasa Puja offering that I've ever written. I think the reason is because I feel I'm very bad at writing and my words do not come across as sincerely as I try to be, but I'm going to try my best. Happy Vyasa Puja, Shri Gurudev. I hope and pray that someday we will be able to celebrate your Vyasa Puja in person. Dear Gurudev, on this occasion, I want to thank you for everything you have done for Shama Premi Devidasi and I. I appreciate immensely the time and attention you have given to us and to so many of us that are in need, especially now. I remember when I first came to Krishna consciousness and I attended my very first Vyasa Puja. It was your Vyasa Puja and it was being held at Sri Sri Radharadhana temple. I did not know what a Vyasa Puja was, and I had heard that there was going to be a great feast, so I attended. I remember sitting in the temple room and listening to devotee after devotee glorify you and break down in tears after reading their offerings. I remember thinking, how can you be devoted to one person? But I had no idea that the depth and importance of a spiritual master and the disciple, the spiritual master and disciple relationship was. But now I do. I realize how much love you have for each and every one of us, how compassionate you are to us and the entire world, how lucky we are to be able to call ourselves your disciples, and how we can imbibe your love for Srila Prabhupada for ourselves. I also remember now how during those Vyasa Puja offerings that I attended, you would also be in tears during those offerings of love. Shama Premi was telling me recently that while she was studying, she came across something that Bhakti Yoga is the study of love, real love. And Gurudev, I feel that whenever we listen to your Vrindavan lectures or see you on Zoom, I feel that pure love you have for us and for Srila Prabhupada and for Sri Radha and Krishna. That bhakti that makes me determined to do all I can to taste even a fraction of it. I know that the past year has been really hard for all of us, but knowing that we get to associate with you every Tuesday and Friday, and more than that, makes all the hardship tolerable. It is the main reason I feel I was able to become more serious in my spiritual life. Taking shelter of your lotus feet and becoming your disciple has been the culmination of my journey in devotional service so far. And while I'm only just starting on this path of bhakti, I feel that as long as I have your mercy and guidance, I will be able to become successful. In fact, since becoming initiated, I really do feel like I have a new life, that this is my actual real identity, and that you have graciously shown it to me. Thank you, Srila Gurudev, for being so compassionate to me, to Shama Premi, and to everyone. Please know that we love you immensely, and that I will try my best to become a sincere disciple of yours and make you proud. Hare Krishna, your servant, Brajamada Vilas.
Hare Krishna, dear Srila Gurudev. Please accept my humble obeisances in the dust of your lotus feet. All glories to your most beneficent spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you. Srila Gurudev, from the time I was a child, you have been the guiding light in my life. Observing your morning pujas and the love and care with which you served your deities is what first inspired me to try to serve the Lord. In the Nectar of Devotion, an analogy of association with advanced devotees is given, comparing it to a crystal which reflects whatever is in front of it. As a child, the beauty of your morning pujas reflected within my heart and planted the seed of attachment to deity worship. And now that you have given me the privilege of being your initiated disciple, that seed has begun to fructify, and I finally been given the opportunity to serve Sri Sri Radharadhanath. I also remember when I was a child, you threw me a 9 1/4 birthday party and gave me a leopard teddy bear who you named Jarikanda. This teddy bear never left my side for many years, even after he lost his spots from having too many baths. I would carry him around my neck in a bead bag. He would dance with me in kirtans, and I would throw him high into the air into the temple. I wouldn't eat anything without first offering some to him. And I realize now I loved him so dearly because I saw him as a part of you, Srila Gurudev. As I grew older, I somehow lost touch with you. But a few weeks before our wedding, you called me to ask to perform the ceremony. I immediately broke down into tears. I thought that you had forgotten me. But you had always been my guru. And as we have heard so many times, the relationship between guru and disciple is eternal. You did not forget me, and our relationship was never lost, but continued from where it left off. Soon after, my husband and I followed you to Sri Vrindavan Dham. Getting to be with you constantly on your Kartik parikrams, hearing your lectures and kirtans, and getting the association of your disciples changed our lives and hearts forever. And now that we are unable to be with you in the Dham, you have brought Vrindavan to us. Dear Srila Gurudev, the impact that your Vrindavan lectures have had on our lives is immeasurable. I look forward to finding out what you will speak about next. Our lives revolve around when we are going to listen to your lectures. Although I do not have much taste for hearing about Krishna, you deliver the lectures so beautifully and expertly that I can't help but be captivated. But most importantly, I appreciate your lectures because we get to associate with you every week. I get to appreciate more and more your attachment to speaking about the glories of the Lord, your deep appreciation of the Vaishnavas, your respect for Vaishnav culture, and most importantly, your surrender to Srila Prabhupada. I pray that these qualities may also someday reflect in my heart. Thank you for graciously accepting me as your disciple and allowing me to be a part of your beautiful spiritual family. Thank you for giving me more love, support, and guidance that I could have hoped for. And thank you for connecting me to Srila Prabhupada. Please bless me that I may be able to please you even one fraction as much as you have pleased Srila Prabhupada. Dear Srila Gurudev, when you initiated me, you promised me that one day you will take me to Srila Prabhupada. I pray that one day I will be able to make you proud to introduce me to Srila Prabhupada as your disciple. Your eternal spiritual daughter, Shama Premi Devidasi. Thanks, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Shama Premi and Brajamada. That was really a sweet offering, and I really love the Tiger Dwarikanda. Up next, we have a Rath Yatra video by Ananta Vrindavan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Golok Prendan Harinam Sankirtan, that this singing, this Hare Krishna song, it comes directly from the spiritual world.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Thank you, Ananta Vrindavan Prabhu. I was literally dancing in my seat. I'm sure we're all missing these wonderful festivals that Srila Gurudev inspires, and I hope we can get back to them soon. Up next, we have Kelly Sundari and her mom Priyadarshini Mataji from New Jagannath Puri in Phoenix.
Hi Krishna Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to you. Happy Vyasa Puja. Every year, as time draws near to your Vyasa Puja, I'm left speechless, and tears slowly fill my eyes as I reflect on your kindness, love, and guidance you have given me throughout my life. You have given me the greatest gift in the world, accepting me into Srila Prabhupada's family. How can I ever repay you? In the last year, we were faced with such a great disorder to life, COVID-19. I felt completely lost, filled with doubt and scared of the unknown approaching us. As described in Sri Namamrit, quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam 4:30-35, whenever pure topics of the transcendental world are discussed, the members of the audience forget all kinds of material hankerings, and at least for the time being. Not only that, but they are no longer envious of one another, nor do they suffer from anxiety or fear. As your classes on the glories of Sri Vrindavan played every day, filling my hours with Harikatha, you allowed me to dive deeper into Srila Prabhupada's books and those of our acharyas. Srila Prabhupada in his purport explains what it means to be a perfect disciple. It is the duty of the disciples to take charge of the mission of the spiritual master and execute it properly. In other words, to execute the will of the spiritual master, the disciple should be prepared to lay down his life and abandon all personal considerations. You are the epitome of a perfect disciple. Allow me, Gurudev, your fallen daughter, to be engaged in your services, lifetime after lifetime, to hold onto your lotus feet, to always continuously keep my mind absorbed in the glories of Krishna and Sri Radha, and to have my mind fixed on Krishna consciousness. Your fallen daughter, Kelly Sundari.
Dearest Maharaj, please accept my most humble obeisances at the dust of your divine lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to you. I am so indebted to you for all the mercy, love, and association that you have given us for over 2 decades. You had once told me that Kelly Sundari and you share a relationship from your previous lives. That statement was so profound. Whenever Kelly Sundari would call you, you would always accept the call, no matter what you were doing. These initial moments laid such a strong foundation for her relationship with you. You had wanted to initiate her at such an early age, and I thought she wasn't ready, but you told me she was. In our yatra, she was the youngest devotee to get first and second initiation, and I always pray that she makes you proud. Even with Vijay Gauranga, it was the same. My children are so fortunate to be your disciples. Please continue to bless them. When my Gomaj left this world, you spoke such comforting words to us. You are now our Shiksha Guru, and I pray you will always cast your glance upon us and continue to give us your association. Your classes are so nectarian, filled with so much emotion and love for Krishna and Srila Prabhupada. You research the topics so well. Every time I listen to the classes, I learn something new. Your kirtans are mind-blowing. We are transported to another world. In 2017, I joined you on Parikram during Kartik. It was magical. Your explanation of the places we visited was brilliant. The people you met enjoyed your association and were enlivened by your class. When I listen to your class, I always learn something new. You always provide very in-depth explanation of the topics. You have always been very merciful towards us and continue to bless us. I pray that we become worthy of that association and become good devotees. Your most fallen servant, Priyadarshini Devi Dasi.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kelly, Sundari, and Priyadarshini, for your wonderful offerings. So now we will invite one of our MCs, Shri Gopika Sundari, to please make an offering for Srila Gurudev.
Thank you, Premananda. Hare Krishna, Srila Gurudev. Please accept my humble obeisances in the dust of your lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all glories to you and your service. As many have mentioned, this past year has been filled with so much change and uncertainty, with the realities of the temporary nature of material life at the forefront of everyone's thoughts. Through all this, the mental and spiritual sustenance provided by service and association have been scarce. There has, however, been some reprieve, Srila Gurudev, through your transcendental ability and tireless efforts to reach thousands of souls all over the world while confined to your home. Your online classes have helped so many, including myself, to remain connected and inspired during these unprecedented times. Your ability to communicate so personally over seemingly detached and disconnected platforms is extraordinary and provides a sense of much needed steadiness. By unearthing many sweet pastimes and emotively relaying them, devotees feel closer than ever to Sri Vrindavan Dham. Srila Gurudev, you are easily able to dispel any impersonal or cold undercurrents within ISKCON by encouraging friendship, compassion, understanding, and learning, even from those who are following a different path back to Godhead. You once said to me that love means to give more than you take, and this is something you truly embody. Your exuberant, magnanimous, loving nature is felt even thousands of kilometers away. You are always there to provide sound advice, lifting me up from the depths of confusion. I've written a short poem to convey my gratitude in a small way. Tender-hearted, compassionate soul, insignificant me as part of your shoal. Gentle giant, calm to the storm, melodious voice guiding me home. Venerable rescuer, beacon of light, selflessly preaching the Lord's glory and might. Merciful monologues, separation suppressed, ecstatic pastimes eloquently expressed. Fearless leader, Anartas beware, Srila Prabhupada's son is chanting a prayer. Thank you, Srila Gurudev, for inundating us with mercy and compassion. I pray to always serve you in a pleasing way and to forever remain a particle at the dust of your lotus feet. With love, Gopika Sundari Dasi.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Gopika Sundari. We really appreciate you hosting and introducing all the devotees and particularly bringing it to the poetic expression. As it said, one of the qualities of Vaishnava is to be kavi and expert in the choice of words. So with that in mind, we also have another creative offering for you, Srila Gurudev. I'd like to invite my dear friend, my companion, my eternal associate. Let's see if that afro is in the screen. His Grace Ethan Prabhu, are you there?
Hey, Prem.
Srila Gurudev is here.
Haribol, Srila Gurudev.
all the devotees. We are here with all the assembled devotees here. This is the South African Vyasa Puja. And so Srila Gurudev, as you know, we express ourselves through the music and through the arts. And last year was the first time actually that we got a chance to be stationary, amidst all of our travels. We never had an opportunity to really sit down and glorify you directly. We felt it was something like, we heard the reference in the meaning of the Vyasa Puja today about Vyasadeva, who had compiled all the Vedic literature, but failed to glorify the Supreme Lord directly. Ethan and I had, composed so many songs and soundtracks and played in so many festivals, and we wrote so much music for all of our preaching, but we never actually glorified you directly, Srila Gurudev. So last year, we made this offering of the greatest story, and it was actually a quote from one of your lectures, and it was the journey of having met you, and our path and our relationship. And that was a really cathartic process for us, and we were very grateful. But this year, we chose to do something a little different, Srila Gurudev, and with the help of Manjula and one of our Aviva Kultura team, Shamadarshini Priya, we've put together an offering that is quite unique in the sense of we were trying to capture what it would be like for your relationship with Srila Prabhupada, as you have spoken about it so much, and there are so many different instances where you have shared appreciation for your spiritual master. And as we know, in the line of our disciplic succession and the way in which prayers are composed, we see with Bhaktivinoda Thakur, especially, where there is a kind of revelation of how different devotees may be appreciating the Lord or appreciating the devotees. We also see, even in our modern times, Mother Sitala, wrote an amazing book where she showed to us, in the pastimes of Narottam Das, what these devotees were going through their own subjective experience. So today we have this poem. It's a kind of spoken word poem with a musical song, and the essence of it is inspired by this pastime where you were with Srila Prabhupada in Vrindavan, I believe, and you were lost and you were trying to find your way. And as you described, Srila Prabhupada was there, I think, on one of the only rickshaws at the time. And he told you, to follow him, and he will take you home. So we have this refrain, but Manjula has composed a really nice poem about the reminisce of what we feel you may be holding dear to you in your relationship with Srila Prabhupada. And we have a few of the images of those years that have been shared. And Ethan was kind enough to narrate and express it with his saxophone, as you know, he does so well. So I will share the screen, and I will try to offer this Follow Me Home to you today. I am technologically disabled, just letting everybody know.
So if you just click share, tick both sound, share sound, optimize for video clip, and then desktop one, just share that, and then you can do the full screen.
It says here, open system preferences to my security. Okay. How do I think it needs to be.
If you go to the system preferences and then go to security, that should be there.
Okay. Thank you, Ananta. It seems that okay. Okay, I think I got this. Sorry for the delay, Srila Gurudev. You wouldn't believe what it was like trying to put this together. But okay. Every year there's always this unique experience. Okay, I have to consider another strategy with this. So, dear devotees, forgive me for these. It is definitely some form of. Somehow I got this new computer and it doesn't want to allow me to.
Why don't you share your screen already, and maybe Ananta can guide you through what you should do next.
I think Zoom is not letting him because there's no permission in the system, right?
Yeah, something like that.
So in the system preferences, can you go to accessibility?
Yeah, that's what I've done.
But click on that little icon of the locks to unlock it. So then you can enable it. You done that, right?
Yeah.
There's a little lock.
Okay,
on that.
I got it. Dear devotees, with much anticipation. I think I have it here. Sorry, Srila Gurudev, I know your time is important. Please forgive me. So here I have the screen, and I offer you on behalf of Manjula, Ethan, Shamdashini, Priyamalaji, follow me home.
There's no sound. Did you enable both ticks for the sound? Yeah, you need to cancel sharing.
Okay.
And then try share again and tick both sound.
Yeah, I got it.
There's two options.
Video clip. Okay, I got it.
And audio sound, yeah.
Thanks. Okay. No? The sound?
Yes, there's a sound. Okay. Move the, yeah, that's it.
Follow me home. Follow me home. Follow me home. Follow me home. Today I reminisce on the jeweled moments of my past, like lines etched in stone, forever in my heart they last. First impressions are the most important, that's what they always say. My very own photo captured upon that special day. The airport was so crowded, Detroit 1971. With the very click of that camera, my new life had just begun. Captured by the Acharya as you landed from above, lifted from my earthly state, made joyful by your love. Follow me home, follow me home, follow me, follow me home. Today I reminisce on when you called us to your room. You knighted us and gave us our charge, bestowing the mission you had assumed. To us, your devoted soldiers, you blessed before the spiritual war. Awaiting your commands, you reached into your top drawer. You handed me your dhoti. I felt like I had been crowned king. A gift from a Vaishnava, you said, is a very special thing. I wore it like a chadar, wrapped in your mercy tight. It was my armor and my shield, dispelling darkness with your saffron light. Follow me home, follow me home, Today I reminisce when you once said to me, have faith in the holy names and always preach boldly. My festivals are my offering, my Prabhu Tata Desh. It is there that I'm close to you, transcending time and space. Sri Vrindavan is where I long to stay, that charming land of love and bliss. But sharing the Dham with others is my highest form of service. So on this day, so full of grace, please hear my fervent prayer. Within my heart, beyond what's dark, is a shining love for you there. So guide me right, keep me in the fight, and away from my ears glare. And when all is done and the battle's won, take me home to be with you again. Follow me home, follow me home, follow me, follow me home.
Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Srila Gurudev ki Jai. So, thank you, dear devotees, for your kind attention. And Srila Gurudev, we will now ask if you would like to conclude our morning, afternoon session with you today. We've had it's been an amazing experience going through so many different emotions, hearing the devotees share their hearts. And I know that you've said so much to us before that this is indeed the most important day for the disciple. And we all appreciate that so much also because we get your attention, your exclusive attention, and to share our appreciation for you. And just hearing all the devotees and the transformative experience from year to year, as you say, is also just so purifying and elevating for us all. And we thank you for this opportunity, and we'd love it if you would be so kind to share something with us.
I have to thank all of you for your very deep and loving and shastric offerings today. This, as Premanand Kirtan was saying,
both for the disciples and for the spiritual master, that we can express our affection for each other, and then our, let's say, our appreciation, our affection and love, because this is a progressive movement, both internally and externally. Internally, as we make progress in awakening our love for Krishna, and externally as we push on the Sankirtan movement. The other day, one of my good friends, Radhacharan Prabhu, he reminded me of a quote that I have used quite often, and that is that when I'm in Vrindavan, I'm often thinking about, the preaching in the West. And when I'm preaching in the West, I'm often thinking of Vrindavan. So our internal progress and our external attempts to spread this movement are very closely connected. So this is a time right now to water the seed, to utilize a term that Srila Prabhupada often used, and which His Holiness Giriraj Swami wrote a book. He called it Watering the Seed. Because I feel that as dark as it appears on the horizon, the sun will shine eventually and dissipate the clouds. It's not going to stay like this forever. There are brighter days ahead. And I think, it's that saying, the silver lining in the cloud. I'd hate to say it, that, coronavirus has been such a horrible, horrific thing for the world. So many people have died. So many people have suffered in so many ways. But still, we can see the silver line in that the Vaishnavas have had time to regroup and recuperate and cultivate our devotional service. Lots of times when there's a war going on, the soldiers get weary and they have to go on leave. They come off the front lines and they go to the back lines there and they recuperate. And then when they're in better condition, they go back on the front lines. So as I often say, this is essentially a missionary movement, Krishna consciousness. It's a missionary movement. It's meant to move forward, deliver people back home, back to Godhead. So I've seen this pandemic with all its horrific results. It's also served the Vaishnavas to retreat a little while and cultivate our devotional service. Generally, we're too busy to take a break. Sometimes people say to me, Maharaj, why don't you take a break? And I said, how do you spell that? It's not the nature of a Vaishnava to take a break. Here's our heart is aching because we know we've been delivered. It's just a question of time. We've been delivered by Srila Prabhupada's mercy. So many people who haven't come in contact with that mercy. So this has given us a time to retreat. Bob Marley, a reggae singer many years ago, he said, run away to fight again another day. Run away to fight again another day. So this is what we've actually done. We retreated because what can you do this time? And it's kind of become a saying now that instead of going outside, go inside. Not so easy. We're not bhajan and undies. We're not have full control of our senses. We can sit in one place and chant all day, memorize shlokas. We have family to take care of. We have social life. We have to keep working somehow or other. But we've had more time. And in one sense, I think that we've made, out of a great misfortune, we've made fortune in that we've been able to go deeper in Krishna consciousness. You can see that in the offerings. Devotees have gone deeper, very mature Even children are speaking so in such an elevated way. So we've retreated and we've refreshed, because I think that when the world comes out of this purification, because it's caused so much suffering to people, they're going to be much more, well, a lot of them are going to just want to enjoy. But there's going to be enough people that are going to really be searching for a positive alternative to material life. That will be one of the results of this pandemic. As in every tragedy, unfortunately, people become more spiritual. So they're going to be much more keen, all over the world, much more keen to find a positive alternative to this dukkhalayama shashvatam. This temporary place full of so much trouble. You can't make it. I often say in the public lectures, no amount of science or technology, it's going to make life a little easier. It's not going to solve the problems of birth, disease, old age, and death. For that, you need a spiritual solution. You need Krishna consciousness. You need the process which is intended specifically for the people of this age. That's not being disrespectful to other religions, but phalina parichate. You judge by the result. How people are becoming enlightened by the process of Krishna consciousness all over the world. They're becoming more renounced, devotees are renounced, and devotees who develop a lolium of greed for Krishna consciousness, for joining Radha and Krishna in their Vrindavan pastimes. And the people, they're going to be looking for answers. And as a result of this retreat and this refreshing process of our spiritual lives, having more time for our spiritual lives, having more time to hear from so many senior devotees. If you go on the internet, there's like, you have, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Which one do you choose? There's, Kadamba Kanana Maharaj, Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj, Niranjan Swami, Radhanath Swami. There's so many sannyasis, so many senior devotees speaking. And that is our process. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Krishna Smaranam. What else can we do besides our basic daily activities? So Shravanam is the first part of the process. That's how Maharaj Parikshit, that's how he became delivered. He only had 7 days. And in 7 days, from one of the 9 processes, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Bandham, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. Prabhupada said you take one or any combination, you can become Krishna conscious. He did one thing, just by hearing attentively on the sands of the Ganges River from his spiritual master, he achieved perfection. Shukadeva Goswami, he became perfected by speaking. So we've had this opportunity. Same Bhagavatam, same Bhagavad Chaitanya Charitamrita, same Brihat Bhagavatamrita, all these books that were meant for the people of this age, this particular time. We've had more access to them than ever before. Maybe you haven't had a chance to read, but hearing is more powerful than reading. Hearing is more powerful because sound vibration, when it's amplified, because it's transcendental, has more of a transcendental effect. That we know from when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inquired from Haridas Thakur, how will all these immovable living entities, here I live in a jungle here, so many gnarled trees and plants and weeds and vines and creepers, every square foot, there's hundreds of them. So Mahaprabhu asked Haridas Thakur, how will all these immovable living entities be delivered? Haridas Thakur had the answer. There's an answer for everything in Krishna consciousness. Perfect questions, perfect answers. Haridas Thakur said, through the loud chanting of the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sound vibration. So reading is good. We have to read. But sound vibration captures the mind. It goes quickly to the heart. Cheto darpana marjanam. So even if we're not so inclined, all of us have been obliged, we've been forced for more hearing and more chanting. We've heard so many instructions from our Diksha and Shiksha gurus and favorite speakers in the temple. We haven't been able to do many of the other things. So my understanding, my limited understanding, my educated guess, this is preparation. We've created fortune out of misfortune. It's like the phoenix rising. There's that story about the phoenix. From the ashes came the phoenix. So from the ashes of this terrible pandemic, the Vaishnavas will return to the battlefield with a very, very strong desire to get back to our main activity, sharing our good fortune with others. You're not going to keep anybody back. You know, sometimes, oh, Prabhu, I can't go and I'm tired. There's going to be a race to get in the van. There's going to be a race to get in the airplane, to get in the train, to get on the street. This is my street corner. No, this is my street corner. This is my contact. No, that's my. You're going to see that. And the people, I think, will embrace the devotees much more. Because across the board, this pandemic has made everyone suffer in the exact same way. There's so many ways that Maya makes you suffer. So many different diseases, the brain diseases, skin diseases, liver. This is everyone's experience. Lockdown, no association, no social life. And we're human beings, we're social animals. We need to associate. These Zoom conferences, they're 85% Vapu. They're not 100%. We want to see each other face to face, have kirtans. Ethan, I'm listening to Ethan all the time. But I want to hear him when I'm there. And I want to see Premananda Kirtan, trumpet, and look at the two of them jiving off each other as they come up with a new riff in the kirtan. And that's life. Woodstock, hundreds, thousands of people chanting. We're crying for that now. Before it was, oh, wow, another Woodstock. Now we're crying for Woodstock, crying for the Ratha Yatra on the Durban beachfront, crying for Harinam. And that's the price you have to. Like Mother Duck, she finds a piece of bread, on the ground, maybe soaked in some milk somebody dropped. She's followed by 15 ducklings. So she picks it up and she's deciding which duckling am I going to give the little piece of bread to. So they quack, 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 quack. But there's one duck in front. Quack, quack, quack. Okay, you take. So Krishna consciousness is like that. If you want service, if you want mercy, if you want love, it has to come from the heart. You can't fool Krishna because he's in your heart and he's in every cell of creation and he's in the spiritual world. Abhigna Surat, he's all-knowing because he's omnipresent. He knows your heart. He knows what you're going to think before you think it. So these type of situations make us desperate. It doesn't matter how long you've been in Krishna consciousness. We're all missing the normalcy of being devotees ourselves and sharing our good fortune through our wonderful harinams and festivals and books and internet and whatever. Still, it's not possible. We're ready to break it to seams. I can't stand it any longer. So when you've got the whole International Society for Krishna Consciousness, we can't stand it any longer, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Things will open up. Who knows how long it'll be? Some months, a year, 2 years. We don't know what the earth has to go through for purification. Just like you can get a disease. You get a common cold, 3 or 4 days. You get typhoid, 1 month. You know, you get cancer, 6 months a year. We don't know, we can't comprehend the totality of people's sinful activities. How many poor cows are killed? Cows and bulls? How many children are aborted? These are not things I ever say in public. It's just an internal conversation here. But, you know, what goes around comes around. So we're patiently waiting. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And when the purification is finished, people will be crying. They'll be crying for Krishna consciousness. They will be crying for Krishna consciousness. I'm getting so many letters every day from people who are not devotees, but have had contact with devotees. And when are you coming back? When are you coming back? One devotee wrote me some months ago that he was doing Sankirtan in Bretagne. Bretagne, it's a part of France. It's the far western side of France. There's a little kind of, the landscape goes out quite a big distance, hundreds of kilometers. And it's a funny part of France. They're very much very français. And they don't change. And I used to do Sankirtan there, with my dhoti and my kurta, big tilak, shaved head, a garland if I could get it, a bright mirrored book bag, and my boots. I go around a dhoti and a kurta. I go door to door in the villages in Bretagne. It's kind of old school French. Farmers, very simple people, cows, crops, like that. And I walk village to village. I knock on the door and people would be like stunned. But they were pious, so they'd invite me in. We'd have a conversation with my 10 words of French. But the process is potent. To see a devotee, to touch one of Prabhupada's books. I'd carry sweet balls with me. I'd make sure before I left the house, everyone ate a sweet ball. So I did that for years there. This is in, 80s, early 90s. And one devotee told me he was recently in Bretagne. He went door to door. And the guy opened the door. Old man. He must have been like 101, 102. And the devotee did his talk, and the man said, oh, wait, where's my Maharaj? Said like that. Where's my Maharaj? You know that American boy? Call me a boy because this is the American boy with the white cloth and the boots, and he had no hair on his head. He came. That was one of the best days of my life. We talked, we laughed, we joked, we had apple juice. And he really inspired me in my spiritual evolution. He said he would come back. Where is he? I've been waiting for him in Bretagne 20 years or more, 30 years ago. He told me my Maharaj would come back. The same thing happened to me in the Amazon jungle. People don't forget when they meet devotees, because it's through devotees that get touched by the mercy of Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya. So you're all very special people. You may not want to hear that, you may not accept it, but you're free from sin, and your spiritual nature is coming forward, shining forward. You're representatives of Prabhupada, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So where you go, people are eager for this Krishna consciousness. So who knows how much longer it'll be? Please get ready. This is our main purpose of life. We're already delivered. Just keep to the straight and narrow. You'll make it home pretty soon. Don't worry about your liberation. One time Prabhupada said, don't worry about your liberation. I'll take care of your liberation. Just preach Krishna consciousness. So take advantage of these times. We'll have more classes. We're already up to 180. We still got Gora Leela to do. We still have Jagannath Puri to do. We're planning lectures on Ramayana. We've got lots of hearing to do. And when you chant, if you can't, now some normalcy is coming back, okay. So when you chant, chant quality. And pray very intensely. Cry to Krishna. Please, enough's enough. They've suffered enough. When Jesus on the cross, he's on the cross. And he said, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. So let us have a spirit of forgiveness. Okay, Krishna, please, enough's enough. The people suffered. Please stop. Let us go out and chant the holy names in their ears. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That is what we live for. Yes, we have so many other dharmas, so many duties, but this is the heartbeat of a Vaishnava. I've been delivered, let me deliver others. So I'm foreseeing a Hare Krishna explosion. They have that term in America. In the 70s, there was a Hare Krishna explosion. That was a little pop, like a balloon, pop. You're going to hear a Hare Krishna explosion. What's it going to sound like? Hundreds of thousands of Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, different parts of the world. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. And imagine, just imagine when we all assemble on the street corner. Imagine when we all go down through the streets of Kali Yuga with a blissful kirtan. Imagine when, we go to the Durban beachfront and we open the gates and people pour in, then you'll cry. And imagine Woodstock. Those of you who have been, have not been, you must all come. Wow, we will never take anything for granted again in Krishna consciousness, believe me. So this is the silver lining in the cloud. So I'm ready. As soon as Mahaprabhu gives the signal, I'll be on the first plane to Durban, Johannesburg. I'll be the first one out there in the townships distributing prasadam to those little African kids, having kirtan with them, and then going through all the ramshackle, the huts and everything. Who would ever go there? What white man would ever go there? No, we dive into, go and get the people to chant with us. We'll have programs, we'll have festivals, we'll meet the VIPs. In your country, we can do that. South Africa, you can meet important people. I have a list of important people I want to meet when I come back. And every day I'm putting a new name there. So be patient, be tolerant, chant Hare Krishna, and get that heartbeat. And cry to Mahaprabhu, scream, please, enough's enough. Please be merciful to them. Let us go out now. And they will listen to this message. A lot of them will listen to this message of Krishna. We have a great future ahead of us, believe me. It's midnight now. darkness in the world, but when the sun rises, oh, for those days, oh, happy days. Okay, so thank you everyone very much. You're doing good. I'm happy with all of you. You're making really nice progress. I'm sure Prabhupada is showering his blessings on you. And well, it's 5:30. I'm going to take a little prasadam now, afternoon. And wow, I don't know what it's going to be like when I arrive at the airport in Johannesburg or Durban. What will it be like? You'll all be there and I'll be there and we'll all run and all the non-devotees will be surprised. We'll all be hugging, falling on the ground, rolling on the ground, crying, just like Chaitanya Charitamrita. So thank you very much. I'll see you soon. What's today? Sunday. See you Tuesday, the next lecture on Vrindavan. Thank you. Well, glories to Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Srila Gurudeva ki jai.
Gurudeva ki jai.
Gurudeva ki jai. Srila Gurudeva ki
Jai.
jai. Srila Gurudeva
Srila
ki
Gurudeva ki
jai.
Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Hare
Hari
Krishna Gurudev. Hare
Glories of
Krishna,
glory.
Krishna.
Indigenous Swami Maharaj ki
Jai.
Oh.
So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Srila Gurudev, for being with us on this very special day, and allowing us to glorify you and appreciate the wonderful life that you've lived and be connected in this way. And thank you so much to all the devotees for coming here, and especially to Manjula for all the work behind the scenes of getting everyone together and making sure it runs smoothly. And thank you, Ananta Vrindavan Prabhu, for your work getting all the videos in the technical department. And really happy that we could have our own South African Vyasa Puja this year.